Welcome in here to another Amaya Pioneers live stream as the show here in Amsterdam is just about to finish up as their starting lineup is about to be announced. I am right in the middle of the stands, in the middle of everybody, and that's where I'll be broadcasting from tonight along with Amsterdam's crew. So it's going to be a really, really loud stream tonight, so I will try and block out as much as the crowd noise as I possibly can, but there's still probably going to be some back in there. The Pioneers are in the PGCBL Championship Series. This is game one against the Eastern Division champions, the Amsterdam Mohawks. And so the Mohawks are going to be home here for game one. And then the Pioneers will be taking game two at Dunfield. And then if there is a game three necessary, then it'll be back here at Amsterdam. Obviously, the Pioneers hoping that they can just simply take game one and then win it at home in game two. But we will have to wait and find out. This Amsterdam team is stacked from top to bottom. This is not going to be an easy game for the Pioneers to play. Not to mention they are pretty much playing at a glorified Little League stadium. It is only 385 feet to center and 280 feet down the line, which is why so many home runs are hit for the Amsterdam Mohawks. It is pretty much a glorified Little League stadium. Like I said, it is very easy for the Amsterdam Mohawks to hit a lot of home runs. They have 27 on the year, which is absolutely ridiculous. It leads the PGCBL by far. Not to mention, compare that to the Pioneers. Pioneers only have 6 home runs on the season, so you can see the stark difference. Of course, the Pioneers can definitely hit some home runs themselves, though. Their lineup definitely has the power to get it done. And you can see the starters for the Pioneers have already been announced, and the starters for Amsterdam are being announced now. And I have a new stream scene today, and I'm going to go take a look at it real quick. It's the starting lineup for the Pioneers. So the starting lineup today, leading off, it'll be number 2, Dom Presto. Batting second, it'll be number 77, Joe Muzio, the third baseman. Batting third, it'll be number 10, John Schroeder, the catcher. Batting fourth, it'll be number 8, Cooper Smith, the right fielder. Batting fifth, it'll be number 44, Chris Bear, the second baseman. Batting sixth, it'll be number 14, Jake Keller, the first baseman. Batting sixth, it'll be number 30, Cam Levesque, the center fielder. Batting eighth, it'll be number 22, Nick Bisaccia, the designated hitter. And batting ninth, it'll be the hometown boy, number 24, Eric Charnetsky, who will be playing left field tonight. And on the mound tonight for the Pioneers, it'll be number 88, Joseph Keltson, who will be getting the start tonight for the Pioneers. And the Pioneers obviously taking a little bit of a look of how they got to this point, looking at the West Division playoff bracket. They took down the number 3 seeded Jamestown Tarp Skunks in the first round of the playoffs. That was a 7-0 shutout win for the Pioneers. And then in game 2, in round 2, I should say, they took down the number 4 seeded Auburn Double Days at home back at Dunfield in the West Division Championship game. That's how they made it here. And now, taking a look at what they need to do, it's a best-of-3 series between the Pioneers and the Mohawks. And so, obviously, the first 2 games and the first 2 wins will be the PGCBL champions. Game 1 will be here at Amsterdam. Game 2 back in Elmira. And game 3, if needed, will be back here at Amsterdam. And then the winner of this series will be the champion of the PGCBL. And now, as we're about ready to get set here for the national anthem, I'm going to step away from the microphone. I'll be back after the national anthem. very nice rendition of the national anthem as we're about ready to get set for game one of this championship series between the Pioneers and the Mohawks. Of course, the last time the Pioneers won a PGCBL title was back in 2007. So it has been 16 years in the making for the Pioneers. And of course, the last time the Pioneers even made the championship series, it was at 2013. So this has been 10 years since the Pioneers have made it back here to the big dance, the championship series. And now they will have to, of course, take on the #1 team in the entire league in terms of regular season record in the Mohawks. They were 37-5 to end the regular season along with one tie. So they were a crazy good regular season team. And now the Pioneers are going to have to take them on. Of course, the Mohawks did have a little bit of trouble getting to this championship series. They barely won last night in the East Division final in extra innings against Utica. That was a 3-2 walk-off error by Utica's catcher that allowed Amsterdam to even get into this series. And then before that, they only won 7-6 over Saugerty. So Amsterdam's coming in a little bit beaten, a little bit battered. And so now I'm going to quickly go through the Amsterdam starting lineup as you will be watching their starting pitchers start to warm up out there. Leading off for the Mohawks, it'll be number 12, Gage Miller, the third baseman. Batting second, it'll be number 2, Brewer Webster, the second baseman. Batting third, it'll be number 34, Luke Longo, the first baseman. Batting fourth, it'll be number 30, Cam Gurney, the extra hitter. Batting fifth, it'll be number 1, Jalen DeBose, the center fielder. Batting sixth, it'll be number 20, Jackson West, the catcher. Batting seventh, it'll be number 5, Merrick, Houston, the shortstop. Batting eighth, it'll be number 10, Zach Eldred. Batting ninth, it'll be number 27, Bryce Hubbard, the designated hitter. Batting 10th, it will be number 8, Jared Johnson. Pioneers are only batting 9 today. Amsterdam Mohawks are batting 10. And, of course, on the mound, you can see him out there. Number 23, Jack Seppings, will be the starting pitcher tonight for the Amsterdam Mohawks in Game 1 of this series. And, of course, Seppings has a crazy good stats, as pretty much everyone does here in Amsterdam. All their players have ridiculous stats. Not to mention Seppings is normally Amsterdam's closer, so he is going to be starting today. So we could be seeing a bullpen game from the Mohawks here tonight in Game 1 of this series. Seppings digging a little bit into his stats. He has a 0 ERA, and yes, you are hearing that right, a 0 ERA, and a 2-0 record in terms of wins and losses in 9 appearances. And 1 save on his record. He's only thrown 12.1 innings. He's only given up 5 hits, no runs, none of those earned, 4 walks, and has 28 strikeouts this season for the Mohawks, which is absolutely ridiculous. So obviously, it is not going to be easy for the Pioneers to get hits. So if the Pioneers are going to get some hits, they're going to might as well try and make them home runs, as it is going to be the easiest time that they will be having to get home runs, as most deep drives into center are probably going to be gone. And so, really, it's going to be interesting to see how the Pioneers fare against Seppings. Seppings against the Pioneers bats is going to be the most intriguing matchup. I truly think Joseph Kelson will be all right against Amsterdam's bats. But really, it's going to be how the Pioneers bats do against Seppings. It's really going to be my main concern. And, of course, Seppings is beginning to warm up here. And I am going to have a very special guest join me in a little while to announce who's going to be batting for the Pioneers for a couple of their batters. And so, until Seppings is about warmed up, I'm going to step away from the microphone. I will be back once Seppings is ready to go. And leading off, the leadoff batter for the Pioneers will be coming up. Welcome back here now, and I'm back, and Seppings looks about ready to warm up, and this championship series is about to get underway. And now to announce the leadoff man, I'm going to hand it over to Mackenzie to announce who will be leading off for the Pioneers.
Batting first, Dom Presto, number 2, shortstop.
As Mackenzie said it, Don Presto, number 2, the shortstop, will be leading off here against Seppings as this game 1 of this championship series is about to get underway. Seppings now will set, deliver, swung on it, crushed it to left immediately. Going back, that is just foul. Are you kidding me? On the very first swing from Presto, that was almost a home run. Immediately, the Pioneers bats and Presto come alive. 0-1 the count to Presto. But oh my goodness, that was gone if it was about 5 feet to the right. What a start. Seppings 0-1 as he has barely even settled in. Will now set, deal, that is in there. Cold strike 2 on a fastball right down Broadway. So the count will go 0-2 to Presto. No outs here in the top of the first. Seppings shakes off 2 pitches, 0-2 the count. And now he will set, deal, swung on it, popped into right. That is going to be foul and out of play into the stands. So the count will stay 0-2 as Presto is able to keep himself alive and foul it off. Count will stay 0-2. Count will stay 0-2 to Presto. No outs here still in the top of the first. Seppings 0-2. He will now set, deal, swung on a pop back foul right field side, and the count will stay 0-2. Still 0-2 the count to Presto as he is able to foul back-to-back pitches off and keep himself alive. Presto is the leadoff man because of that ability. He oftentimes gets on base. He has one of the highest on-base percentages on the entire Pioneers roster as that one is down low and away for ball 1 from Seppings as he almost lost his glove there. So the count will go 1-2 to Presto. No outs here in the top of the first. Seppings 1-2. He will now set, deliver, swing and a miss by Presto. So Presto will go down swinging. That is the first out of the ball game. 1 out here in the top of the first, and now I once again hand it over to Mackenzie to announce who will be batting next for the Pioneers.
Batting second, number 77, Joe Muzio.
Muzio will be up next for the Pioneers, as Mackenzie said. 1 out here in the top of the first. Seppings now will now set, deal, swung on a pop back. That is out of play, left field side. And so the count will go 0-1 to Muzio. 1 out here in the top of the first. Of course, Muzio coming off of that game against Amsterdam, or excuse me, against Auburn in the West Division Final where he had 2 doubles, and Muzio was really the one to break that game open for the Pioneers. He completely changed that game with a double and then an RBI double and back-to-back at-bats. Seppings 0-1 will now set, deal, swung on it, chopped over to first. That is going to be fair, and the first baseman misses it. So that is going to be an immediate base runner for Muzio, or excuse me, for the Pioneers, as Joe Muzio will get on base with. I'm waiting to see whether they're going to score that a hit or an error. I believe, yes, they are going to give him the base hit. So that is a base hit single for Joe Muzio to put a runner on first for the Pioneers with 1 out in the top of the first. And now that'll bring up number 10, John Schroeder, the catcher. Schroeder coming in, one of the most powerful bats for the Pioneers. Of course, he had a couple base hits as well in that game against Auburn. Not to mention, he had a solo home run in the first round of the playoffs against the Tarp Skunks. Seppings 0-1. Will now set, deal, that is down low and away for ball 1. So the count will go 1-0 to Schroeder. 1 out here in the top of the first. It is still Muzio off of first for the Pioneers. And so 1-0 the count to Seppings, or excuse me, 1-0 the count to Schroeder. 1 out here in the top of the first. Muzio off of first. Seppings will set, deliver. That is down low and away for ball 2. 2-0 the count to Schroeder, and that one almost got away from the catcher there to allow Muzio to go to second, but not quite. So 2-0 the count to John Schroeder. 1 out here in the top of the first. Muzio off of first for the Pioneers. Of course, the Pioneers will take as many base runners as they can possibly get. And now an immediately check over from Seppings to Muzio off of first. Muzio is still safe over there at first as he was able to get back in time. 2-0 the count to Schroeder. Seppings will look in. 2-0. And now he will set, deal, that is in there, just caught the top left corner of the strike zone. So the count will go 2-1 to Schroeder, 1 out here in the top of the first. It is a very good thing to see that the Pioneers have already been able to get a base hit off of Seppings, considering against McWaters in the West Division Championship game, it took the Pioneers 6 innings to get a base hit off of him. That is down low and away for ball 3. So 3-1 the count to Schroeder. 1 out here in the top of the first. A walk for Schroeder would be fantastic. The Pioneers would certainly take that, as they would put 2 runners on with only 1 out here in the top of the first. The Pioneers are looking to try and get a lead here early in this one. Trying to get any sort of runs will help. Seppings will set deal. That's a base hit and a right, as that is a line drive base hit single, and Muzio is going to go to third. That is going to be a single for Schroeder, but Muzio will go all the way over to third base for the Pioneers, and the Pioneers are knocking on the door here early against Amsterdam. And now that'll bring up number 8, Cooper Smith, the right fielder, who is the number 4 batter in the Pioneers lineup. And so now Smith will be coming in here to face Seppings. 1 out here in the top of the first, and already runners on the corners for the Pioneers. This has been a rip-roaring start for the Pioneers. Seppings will look in with only 1 out. Smith now. Seppings looks over to Muzio, and now he will set, deal. That is upstairs for ball 1. So 1-0 the count to Smith. 1 out here in the top of the first. And of course, Bear is on deck for the Pioneers. Seppings looks in 1-0. Seppings looks over to Muzio, and now he will set, deal, swung on it, chopped over to third. Third baseman will field it, and he will tag out Muzio at third. So that is going to be a fielder's choice reach for Cooper Smith, but it will also put 2 outs on the board, as Muzio just got caught, as that was perfectly hit over to the third baseman, and Muzio was not able to get back in time. But that is still all right for the Pioneers, as now that'll bring up number 44, Chris Bear, the second baseman. Bear will be coming up here with still runners on first and second for the Pioneers, with 2 outs in the top of the first here now. If Bear gets a base hit, that still could be enough to get Schroeder home. Of course, since it's such a small field, it may not be enough to get Schroeder home, considering the outfielders have a lot less room to cover. Seppings now will set, deal. That is in there, called strike 1. So 0-1 the count to Bear. 2 outs here in the top of the first. Seppings 0-1 will now look into Bear. Schroeder off second, Smith off first for the Pioneers. 2 outs in the top of the first. Seppings 0-1. He will now set, deliver. That is a swing and a miss by Bear, and the count will go 0-2 very quickly. So 0-2 the count to Bear. 2 outs here in the top of the first. Pioneers with runners on first and second, trying to get a base hit that would maybe drive in Schroeder. If it's back far enough, of course, home runs are always available at this ballpark. Seppings 0-2. He will now set, deal, swung on and popped. That is right field side, way out of play. That is out and over everything. And so the count will stay 0-2 to Bear. Still 2 outs here in the top of the first. Seppings looks in 0-2. Bear trying to get a base hit here. Presto, I cannot believe how close he was on the very first swing of this ball game to getting a home run. Seppings 0-2 will now set, deal. That is upstairs for ball 1. A good take there by Bear. And the count will now go 1-2 to Bear. 2 outs here in the top of the first. Smith off of first, Schroeder off of second for the Pioneers. Seppings 1-2 will look in. And now he'll look over to Schroeder. Seppings will now set, fire. That is just down low for ball 2. Crowd does not like the call, but the count will go deuces wild now, as it'll even up at 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the first. Seppings, that was a ball at the bottom of the zone, and the umpire gave Bear the call, which is big because it kept the inning going. Seppings 2-2. As he will now set, deal, swung on it, fouled off, right field side, and way out of the ballpark. So the count will stay 2-2 to Bear. Still 2 outs here in the top of the first. Still runners on first and second for the Pioneers. So the Pioneers an opportunity here already to try and get a lead in this ball game. It would be big They would love to have a lead here already. Seppings 2-2. They need Bear to get a base hit, though. Seppings now will set, deliver, swung on and fouled again, right field side. Bear is doing a great job of just fouling off baseballs and keeping himself alive and driving up Seppings' pitch count. Like I said before, Seppings is normally the closer for the Mohawks, and so he doesn't normally work a ton of innings. He's only thrown 12.1 throughout the season, and so he's probably not going to go for more than 3 or 4 innings in this ball game. So already driving up his pitch count helps. Swung on it, popped, foul again. Bear continuing to foul it off here and keep himself going. This has been a fantastic battle from Bear. He has constantly just been able to foul off the past like 5 pitches from Seppings and keep himself alive. Still deuces wild the count here. 2-2. Seppings shakes off one pitch. Now Seppings will set, deliver, swing and a miss by Bear. He goes down swinging, and that will end the top of the first inning. No runs for the Pioneers in the top of the first. They strand 2 runners on. We go to the bottom of the first inning. Still 0-0 ball game right after this. Welcome back here to the Pioneers live stream. It's the bottom of the first inning here. Pioneers and Amsterdam are still deadlocked at scoreless, 0 runs apiece. And on the mound for the Pioneers, as I already mentioned, it'll be number 88, Joseph Keltson, who will be making the start. Keltson making his 8th start of the season. He also had 3 appearances out of the bullpen. He has a 2.04 ERA in 44 innings pitched. He's given up 48 hits, 12 runs, only 10 of those earned, 22 walks, and has 32 strikeouts. Keltson will be facing the leadoff man in number 12, Gage Miller. Keltson will set deal. That is popped straight back to Keltson, who will catch it and throw to Keller in time. And on the first pitch from Keltson, there is 1 out here in the bottom of the first. And that is what Keltson is going to be trying to get a lot of tonight. Keltson is the king of groundouts and pop-outs. I know he was the high school leader in strikeouts of the state of California this past year. However, since he's come to the Pioneers, he has not had those same strikeout numbers. He's going to be getting a lot of groundouts and a lot of pop-outs tonight. 1 out here in the bottom of the first, and now that'll bring up number 2, Brewer Webster, as that is called strike 1. So 0-1 the count to Keltson, or excuse me, 0-1 the count to Webster. 1 out here in the bottom of the first. By the way, Keltson's arsenal, fastball, curveball, changeup, slider, as a bunt attempt is not laid down correctly. That is foul. So the count will go 0-2 now to Webster One out here in the bottom of the first. Kelson has his first strikeout opportunity of the night here on this 0-2 count to Webster. Kelson will look in 0-2. And now he will set, deal, swing and a miss by, or no, it's just got a piece of it, did Webster. I thought he missed it, but it just got a piece off the bottom of his bat. So the count will stay 0-2 to Webster. One out here in the bottom of the first. Kelson can still pick up his first strikeout here on this 0-2 count. Kelson now will set, deal. That is upstairs for ball one. So 1-2 the count to Webster. The count will go one out here in the bottom of the first still. Kelson needs to try and go through these innings as fast and as clean as possible. Kelson 1-2. Will now set, deal. That is swung on a pop back foul. Right field side. So Webster once again able to keep himself alive. 1-2 is still the count to Webster. Kelson looks in 1-2 as Webster will take his time, step back into the batter's box. He's all the way at the back of the batter's box, Webster is. Kelson will now set, deal, swing, and it's just popped back again. Webster just able to get a tiny piece of it in order to keep himself alive. The count will stay at 1-2 to Webster. One out here in the bottom of the first. Kelson 1-2. I would not be surprised if he goes back to the fastball. Kelson now will set, deal, swung on it, popped over to first, and Keller will field it. And now Kelson, what happened there? As Keller stopped going to first, he thought Kelson was going to grab it, but instead, neither of them got it, and Webster will be safe at first. And they're going to rule that as a base hit, which it shouldn't be. That is an error if I've ever seen one. But because of that miscommunication between Keller and Kelson, that will allow Webster to go to first. I've never seen that happen before. So now that'll bring up number 34, Luke Longo, the first baseman, with one out here in the bottom of the first and a runner on first for Amsterdam. Kelson now will set, deal. That is upstairs, ball one. That miscommunication was half on Keller and half on Kelson. I think Keller thought Kelson was going to sprint over to first to get a toss over from Keller, but then Kelson just didn't do it, and then Keller was frozen. Kelson 1-2, or excuse me, 1-0 will now deal down low for ball two, so the count will go 2-0 to Longo. One out here in the bottom of the first. This has been a wild start to this championship series. Kelson 2-0 the count. One out here in the bottom of the first. Kelson now will set, deal. That is upstairs, ball three, an immediate pickoff attempt at first. Schroeder not able to get it over to Keller in time. So 3-0 the count to Longo. Kelson does not want to walk Longo here with only one out. He needs to try and find a pitch here to get back into this count. Kelson looks in 3-0. And now he will set, deal. That is in there. Called strike one on the fastball right down Broadway. That is exactly the pitch that Kelson needed to get back into the zone. 3-1 the count to Longo. One out here in the bottom of the first. It is Webster off of first for the Mohawks. Kelson now will set, deal. That is going to be down low, ball four. And so that'll be a walk for Longo, which will put runners on first and second for Amsterdam with only one out here in the bottom of the first. So Kelson already in a little bit of trouble. And now that'll bring up number 30, Cam Gurney, the extra hitter tonight for the Mohawks. Gurney will be stepping in with runners on first and second and only one out here in the bottom of the first. Kelson needs to try and find some outs here. Gurney, a .430 batting average in 32 starts, 25 runs, 46 hits. Like I said before, Mohawks have insane stats. Kelson now will set, deal, swung on it, popped over to short and Presto. Presto will turn to second, throw to first, in time! No! Not quite in time. I thought the throw beat him out. It was a very close play, but on a fielder's choice out, Gurney will reach first. Gurney just got there in time, but that will put two outs on the board. But there are runners on the corners for the Mohawks, so Kelson has to be really careful here. He needs one more out to get himself out of this inning with no damage. It'll be Gurney on first, and it'll be Webster on third for the Mohawks. Kelson now Well, now set, deal. That is in there. Called strike one on a beautiful curveball. Count will go 0-1 to number 1, Jalen DeBose, the center fielder, who is now at the plate for the Mohawks. Kelson 0-1. As he will now set, deliver. That is upstairs on a curveball for ball 1. So the count will even up at 1-1 to DeBose. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first still. Kelson looks in, 1-1. He needs to try and get an out here. He will now set, deal. That is in there just outside for ball 2. I thought that would just caught the corner. Umpire disagrees. The count will go 2-1 to DeBose. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Any out gets Kelson out of this inning. Kelson now 2-1. Will now set, deal. That is just outside ball 3 on a fastball that misses. So 3-1 the count to DeBose. Runners on the corners. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. It's not the worst thing in the world if Kelson walks DeBose here, but it would be then if he walks the next batter up. Kelson will set, deal. Swung on a pop back foul. That is right field side into the stands. And so the count will now go full to DeBose. So this is a massive pitch for Kelson here. Kelson 3-2, looking to try and get the strikeout here. It would be his first of the ball game to end the bottom of the first inning. If Kelson were to walk DeBose, it would load the bases for the Mohawks. Kelson will set, deal. That is in there. Called strike 3. He struck him out on the curveball. A beautiful pitch to freeze DeBose, and that will end the bottom of the first inning. No runs for the Mohawks in the bottom of the first. We go to the top of the second. Pioneers bats back up at it right after this. Welcome back here to the Pioneers live stream. It's the top of the second inning here. Pioneers and Mohawks still scoreless in game 1 of this championship series. And it'll be number 14, Jake Keller, the first baseman, leading off for the Pioneers against Jack Seppings, who is still out there for the Mohawks. Seppings now will set, fire. That is in there, called strike 1. 0-1 the count to Keller. No outs here in the top of the second. Seppings 0-1 will now set, deal, swing and a miss by Keller. And the count quickly goes 0-2 now. 0-2 the count to Keller. No outs here in the top of the second. Keller looking to get a base hit here. Seppings now will set, deal. That is down low for ball 1 on the fastball. So the count will now go 1-2 to Keller. Still no outs here in the top of the second. Seppings looks in, 1-2. Now he will set, deliver. That is outside, ball 2 just outside on that slider. That is a dangerous pitch. The count will even up at 2-2 to Keller. No outs here still in the top of the second inning. Keller, it'd be awesome if he can get on. Seppings 2-2 will now set, deliver, swung on it, popped short. First baseman will field it, throw back to Seppings, and he will get the out. That is the play that Kelson and Keller tried to have in the bottom of the first that they did not convert, but this time Amsterdam makes it look easy. And so now to announce the 7th batter in the Pioneers lineup, I'm going to hand it off to Mackenzie one more time.
Batting 7th, our center fielder, number 30, Cam Levesque.
As Mackenzie said, Levesque will be up at the plate. Steppings now will set, deal, swing and a miss by Levesque. And the count will go 0-1. 0-1 the count to Levesque. One out here in the top of the second. Levesque trying to get a base hit here. Steppings 0-1. Will now set, deal, that is in there. Called strike two, another fastball. And that one was right down low, bottom left corner of the zone. So the count will go 0-2 to Levesque. One out here in the top of the second inning. Steppings 0-2. Will now set, deliver, swing and a miss by Levesque. He goes down swinging. That will be the 3rd strikeout of the night for Steppings, and that will put 2 outs on the board here in the top of the second. I do apologize for not putting that first out up on the board, but there are 2 outs here now, as now that'll bring up number 22, Nick Bisaccia, the designated hitter. Bisaccia has not had a playoff start so far. He did not play in Jamestown or against Auburn, but he will be getting the start here in game 1 as Zealy might be pitching, which is why, because Zealy's been the DH the other 2 games, but because Zealy might be throwing at the back half of this game as he takes strike 1, Bisaccia does. Zealy is not going to be DHing tonight. So that is lined down. That is a base hit fair. And now he will throw to Steppings in time. That was perfectly down the line, but the first baseman cut it off and threw back to Steppings to get the out. So that'll be a ground out for Bisaccia and a 1-2-3 inning for Steppings to end the top of the second. We go to the bottom of the second. Joseph Kelson back on the mound right after this.
Filtration equipment, engine starters, braking systems, we engineer, manufacture, and distribute them. All of the products we manufacture are designed right here, so we truly know the products we provide for you, inside and out. On top of being an industrial manufacturer, at the Hilliard Corporation we also serve as a weld shop and machine shop. We specialize in creating custom parts and pieces to fit particular and uncommon applications. The secondary location is the home of the drivetrain division, where products for Polaris and other vehicle manufacturers are made. This is a high-volume, celled manufacturing plant that produces thousands of parts daily. Over time, Hilliard's product line has diversified, but our company has stayed true to our Elmira roots. Today, Hilliard maintains its original location while continually expanding its motion control and filtration product.
Welcome back here to the Pioneers, the live stream. It's the bottom of the second inning here. Pioneers and Mohawks still scoreless in game 1 of this championship season of the PGCBL. Leading off this inning against Joseph Kelson for the Mohawks, it'll be number 20, Jackson West, who is catching tonight for the Mohawks. West, a .403 batting average in 25 starts, 24 runs, 27 hits, 20 RBIs, 20 walks, and only 2 strikeouts this season. Kelson now will set, deal, that is in there, called strike 1, another beautiful curveball by Kelson. And the count will go 0-1 to West. 0-1 the count to West. No outs here in the bottom of the second. Kelson 0-1. Will now set, deliver, that is in there, called strike 2, another beautiful curveball. And the count will go 0-2 now. 0-2 the count to West. No outs here in the bottom of the second. Kelson looking for back-to-back Ks. Kelson now will set, deliver, that is just outside, ball 1. Another curveball. And this time West did not swing. He hasn't actually swung at any of the 3 curveballs thrown at him. The first 2 were strikes. That one just a little bit outside. So 1-2 the count to West. Kelson now will set, deal, swung on it, chopped over to second to Bear. Bear loses it. And that is going to be a reach by Air as Bear could not handle it coming off of his glove. And so a reach by Air for West to lead off the inning for the Mohawks is not a good start. And now that'll bring up number 5, Merrick Houston, the shortstop. Houston, a .429 batting average in 14 starts, 14 runs, 18 hits, 13 RBIs, 12 walks, and only 2 strikeouts. Kelton will now set deal, swung on a chop, that is foul down the left field line. So the count will go 0-1 to Houston. No outs here in the bottom of the second. Kelton needs either a ground out to Presto at short or a strikeout here because there's already a runner on first and West. Kelton 0-1. Will now check over to West, and West will be safe as Keller will catch that one. So 0-1 the count to Houston. No outs here in the bottom of the second. It is already West over there at first. Kelton will set deal. That is in there. Called strike 2. 0-2 the count to Houston on the fastball. And Houston did show bunt on that pitch, but he did not get a chance to lay one down. 0-2 the count to Houston. Kelton looking for a second strikeout here. This would be a big one. Kelton 0-2. Schroeder sets up away. And now he's nodding, so he's going to check over, and he does. So still 0-2 the count, as once again West will be safe at first. Kelton looks in, 0-2 the count. And now he will set deal. That is in there just outside for ball 1. So the count will go 1-2 to Houston. No outs here in the bottom of the second. I have never broadcasted in such a wild environment here, right in the middle of the stands of the Mohawks. All the fans are around me, and it is deafeningly loud here. 1-2 the count. Kelton now still looking for the K. Will set deal. That is down low and outside for ball 2. So the count will now even up to Houston at 2-2. No outs here in the bottom of the second. Kelton really needs to find the strikeout here to try and get at least 1 out on the board and put the double play into availability to get him out of the inning. Kelton will set deal. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. That is the second strikeout of the day for Joseph Kelton, and that will put 1 out on the board here in the bottom of the second. That was a big strikeout for Kelton. And now the double play, if he can get number 10, Zach Eldred, the right fielder, to ground out to Presto over there at short. And they can try and turn a double play to get Kelton out of this inning. Kelton now will look in. And he will now set deal. Swung on it, crushed into right. Smith going back all the way at the wall, and he will catch and make the play. No, it's off the wall. And so now he's going to have to throw it quickly. Keller will keep the runner where they are. That is a double for Eldred. A base hit double for Zach Eldred. That almost looked like it was gone. We'll put runners on second and third for the Mohawks with only 1 out here in the bottom of the second. And now that'll bring him number 27, Bryce Hubbard, the designated hitter. I thought Cooper Smith went up in on the wall and made the play. He didn't. It just was above him. It's really hard to see as it's all white signage back there. Well, that'll be a double for Eldred. So Kelton will now set deal. Swing and a miss by Eldred. And the count will go 0-1. Or excuse me, 0-1 the count to Hubbard. Bryce Hubbard, number 27, is at the plate. Eldred is at second. And West is at third. Kelton now, 0-1, will set deal. Swung on a chop, foul. That is right field side. And so the count will go 0-2. Amsterdam already knocking on the door here. This is a very dangerous situation with 2 runners on, especially on second and third with only 1 out. Kelton, 0-2 the count. He needs this strikeout. Kelton 0-2 looking for the K. Well, now set deal. That is down low and away for ball 2. He tried to get Hubbard to chase that fastball, but he did not. So actually the count will go 1-2. That was actually the first ball. Scoreboard operator's been off tonight here in Amsterdam, so it's been tripping me up. 1-2 the count. Kelton now will set, deliver, swing and a miss by Hubbard. He goes down swinging. That is the third strikeout of the ball game for Joseph Kelton, and that will put 2 outs on the board here in the bottom of the second. And that was a massive K to put 2 outs on the board with still runners on second and third for the Mohawks. And so Kelton, trying to keep this a scoreless ball game, only needs 1 more out to get it that way. And it'll be number 8, Jared Johnson, the left fielder, who he needs to get out. Kelton now will set deal. Swung on a chopped over to second. Bayer will field it. Throw to first. It's high. We got him. And that will be a ground out by Johnson to end the bottom of the second inning. Amsterdam strands 2 runners on in the bottom of the second. We go to the top of the third. It is still scoreless in game 1 of the PGCBL Championship Series. Welcome back here to the Pioneers live stream. It's the top of the third inning here. Pioneers and Mohawks still scoreless. Joseph Kelson able to pitch himself out of a runners on second and third jam. Leading off this inning for the Pioneers, it'll be the hometown boy, number 24, Eric Charnetsky, the left fielder tonight, who will be leading off against Jack Seppings, who is still out there for the Mohawks. Seppings now will now set, deliver, swing and a miss by Charnetsky, and the count will go 0-1. 0-1 the count to Charnetsky, no outs here in the top of the third. Seppings steps back on, shakes off one pitch, and now he will set, deliver, that is in there, called strike 2 on a fastball right down Broadway. So the count quickly goes 0-2 to Charnetsky. No outs here in the top of the third. It'd be big if Charnetsky can crank a base hit. Seppings will set, deal, check swing, and they're going to say he did not go, and that is down low and away for ball 1. So 1-2 the count now to Charnetsky. No outs here in the top of the third. Seppings 1-2. He will now set, deal, swing and a miss by Charnetsky. He goes down swinging. That is the 4th strikeout of the night for Jack Seppings, and that will put 1 out on the board here in the top of the third. And now we are back up top to the leadoff man and the top of the order for the Pioneers, and number 2, Dom Presto, the shortstop. Presto struck out in his first at-bat. Seppings now will set, deliver, that is down low and away for ball 1. Of course, Presto almost hit a home run on the very first pitch of this ball game. Hopefully he can actually hit one here. Seppings will set, deal, that is in there, called strike 1. So the count will even up at Aces Wild, our first Aces Wild of the night, as it is 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the top of the third to Presto. Seppings now will set, deliver, that is here going to be a hit by pitch off of Presto's hands. Actually, it looked like it came off. They're going to say that that was foul, so they're going to say it is now 1-2 the count to Presto. 1 out here in the top of the third. They are not going to award Presto a hit by pitch, even though it hit off of his hands. So 1-2 the count to Presto. 1 out here in the top of the third. Seppings 1-2. He will now set, deliver, swung on a driven, propped on a broken bat. That is going to get down. Shortstop will throw to first. He is out. Wow, just barely did Presto get out there. That was almost enough to get him the first, but not quite. It was a perfectly placed blooper single in the infield grass, but not quite enough just got beat out by about half a step. So that'll put 2 outs on the board here in the top of the third, and now that'll bring up number 77, Joe Muzio, the third baseman. Muzio singled in his first at-bat. Seppings now will set, deliver, swung on it, crushed into right. Going back is the right fielder at the wall. It is off the wall. That is going to be a double for Joe Muzio. And he will slide into second safe. That is a stand-up base hit double for Joe Muzio. And there will be a runner in scoring position for the Pioneers here with 2 outs in the top of the third. And now that'll bring up number 10, John Schroeder, the catcher, who singled in his first at-bat. And the heart of the order is delivering here for the Pioneers so far in this game 1. And of course, that was almost a home run. That was about literally 2 feet from being a home run. That's how easy it is to hit one here at Amsterdam. So Seppings will have to face Schroeder, who even has more power than what Muzio does. And so if Schroeder can get one here, it'd probably be a homer. Seppings will look in. 2 outs here in the top of the third. Seppings now will set, deal. That is down low and away for ball 1. So 1-0 the count to Schroeder. 2 outs here in the top of the third. Seppings looks in. 1-0 the count. Seppings, 1-0. Will now set, deliver, swung on a pop. That is just right field side and foul. And so the count will even up 1-1 to Schroeder. 2 outs here in the top of the third. John Schroeder trying to get a base hit here to perhaps score Muzio and get the Goose Eggs off the board. Seppings 1-1 will look in. However, there are 2 outs on the board, so the Pioneers do have to be a little careful. Seppings 1-1. He will now set, deliver. That is going to be down low for ball 2, and that one got away from the catcher momentarily, but not enough for Muzio to advance. So the count will go 2-1 to Schroeder. 2 outs here in the top of the third. Seppings 2-1 will look in. Seppings looks to Muzio, and now he will set, deliver, swung on a pop back left field side this time, up and over the stands. And so the count will even up now at deuces wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the third to Schroeder. Of course, Schroeder already has a home run this postseason. He hit one against Jamestown in round 1. Trying to get a second one here. It'd be a 2-run shot to drive in Joe Muzio. Even a base hit would do. Seppings 2-2. He will now set, deliver. That is upstairs for ball 3. So full count now to Schroeder, 3-2. 3-2 the count to Schroeder. 2 outs here in the top of the third. Schroeder looking to try and crank one here. Seppings looks in 3-2. Seppings now. Full count will step off and pump fake over to Muzio, but no throw will be made. So now Seppings, will have to step back on the mound here. Still 3-2 the count to Schroeder. Seppings looks in, 3-2. Shakes off one pitch. Seppings now decided on the pitch. He will now set, deliver. That is going to be upstairs. Ball 4. That'll be a walk for John Schroeder to put runners on first and second with 2 outs here on the top of the third. And now that'll bring up number 8, Cooper Smith, the right fielder. Smith reached on a fielder's choice in his first at-bat. So Schroeder gets on base thanks to a walk. And Seppings has already given up the first walk of the night. That's only his 5th walk of the season. Seppings now will set, deal. That is upstairs, ball 1. 1-0 the count to Smith. 2 outs here in the top of the third. Smith 1-0 as Seppings will look into him. Seppings 1-0 the count. As he will now set, deliver. That is down low and outside for ball 2. So 2-0 the count, and Muzio will scamper back to second base. 2-0 the count to Smith. Smith, if he gets walked, that would load the bases for the Pioneers with 2 outs in the top of the third, and that bring up number 44, Chris Bear. Seppings 2-0. He might throw a fastball here, and Cooper Smith, if he can get onto it, it could be a homer. Seppings 2-0 will now set, deliver, swung on a pop. That is going to be over to second base. Second baseman will field it. Turn to first in time. And that will end the top of the third. The Pioneers will strand 2-on in the top of the third inning, and it is still scoreless here in game one as Joseph Kelson will retake the mound in the bottom of the third right after this. Welcome back here to the Pioneers live stream. It's the bottom of the third inning here. It is still scoreless here in game one of this PGCBL Championship Series between the Mohawks and the Pioneers. It'll be, once again, Joseph Kelson out there on the mound for the Pioneers here in the bottom of the third, and we are back to the top of the order for the Mohawks. In number 12, Gage Miller, the third baseman, who will be leading off here for the Mohawks. Miller grounded out in his first at-bat. Kelson will set deal. That is down low and away for ball one. So 1-0 the count to Miller. No outs here in the bottom of the third. Kelson looks in 1-0. And now he will set deal. That is upstairs, ball two. So 2-0 the count to Miller. Neither pitcher, nor Seppings nor Kelson, have been able to get calls upstairs very much. The zone has been quite low today from the umpire. Kelson 2-0 will now set, deliver, swung on a chop. That is foul, left field side. And so the count will go 2-1 now to Miller. No outs here in the bottom of the third. Kelson, it'd be awesome for him to get a leadoff out here. Kelson 2-1 will look in. Now he will set, deal, swung on a pop back, foul. Just got a little piece of it. So the count will even up 2-2 now to Miller. Kelson can pick up what would be his fourth strikeout of the ball game here to put one out on the board in the bottom of the third. Kelson looks in, 2-2. Kelson now will set, deal. That is going to be a hit by pitch as that hits off of Miller's shoulder. And that one just got away. It slipped out of Kelson's hand, and it was a curveball that didn't quite curve enough. And so that'll be a hit by pitch to put Miller on first for the Mohawks with no outs here in the bottom of the third. And now that'll bring up number 2, Bruce Webster, the second baseman. Webster singled in his first at-bat. Kelson looks into Webster. It is Miller off of first. No outs here still in the bottom of the third. Kelson will set deal. Bunt laid down by Webster, will throw to first, is in, not in time. That is going to be a base hit single, and Webster will be safe. Base hit bunt single by Webster will put runners on first and second for the Mohawks with no outs here in the bottom of the third, and Kelson is in a lot of trouble. This could be the start of the Mohawks rally here As now that'll bring up number 34, Luke Longo, the first baseman. Walked in his first at-bat. No outs here in the bottom of the third, and already 2 runners on for the Mohawks here. No outs. That's the biggest thing, is that Kelson has not been able to get anybody out in this inning. Kelson now will now set, deal another bunt shown by Longo. The count will go 1-0, as that was a slider low and away. So 1-0 the count to Longo, who already showed bunt once. No outs here in the bottom of the third. Kelson 1-0, as he will look in. Kelson will now set, deal, swung on a chop. That is a line out to Muzio, and Muzio will calmly just catch it, and the runners will be staying where they are. That is about the best case scenario for the Pioneers, as not only does that not allow the runners to advance, but it keeps them where they are and puts an out on the board. So that'll put 1 out on the board here in the bottom of the third, and now the double play is now available for Kelson, as if he can get a ground out from number 30, Cam Gurney, the extra hitter, to the shortstop Presto, they could potentially turn to get Kelson out of this inning. So that is the goal for Kelson here in this at-bat. Kelson now against Gurney will now set, deal, swung on a chop. That's a base hit to left, and that'll score a run, as it'll be Miller coming around and scoring. That'll be an RBI single, and the Mohawks lead it 1-0. It was only a matter of time before the Mohawks decided to strike, and they have done it here in the bottom of the third. That'll be an RBI single by Cam Gurney with 1 out here in the bottom of the third. And now that'll bring up number 1, Jalen DeBose, the center fielder who struck out in his first at-bat. It is now a 1-0 ballgame. The Pioneers are going to have to get their bats going in this one. No doubt about it. Kelson now looks over to Webster off second. And now Kelson will set, deal, swung on a pop right over Kelson's head. Presto will field it, throw to first in time. And so that will be a ground out by DeBose to put 2 outs on the board here in the bottom of the third. But now there are runners on second and third for Amsterdam. Kelson needs 1 more out to just keep this inning to only 1 run given up. Now that'll bring up number 20, Jackson West, the catcher. He reached by an error in his first at-bat. 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. Kelson looking to just try and get out of this inning with only 1 run given up. Kelson now will set, deal. That is in there. Cold strike 1 on that curveball. 0-1 the count to West. 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. And Kelson's curveball, to be honest, has been really deadly tonight against Amsterdam. It's probably been his best pitch so far. Kelson 0-1 will now set, deal. That is down low for ball 1. Webster is over there at third for the Mohawks, and he has been threatening. He's been running back up and down the line a lot. 1-1 the count to West. Kelson now 1-1. He will now set, deliver, swung on a pop. That is left field side foul and up and over into the trees. And so the count will go 1-2 now to West. Kelson looking to pick up what would be his 4th strikeout of the ball game to end the bottom of the third inning with only 1 run given up. Kelson 1-2. He needs this strikeout to get himself out of this jam. Anything else, and it's probably going to be bad for the Pioneers. Kelson now will set, deliver, swing, and his pop back foul. Just the tiniest of pieces did West get that, and so he is just able to stay alive. So the count will stay 1-2 to West. 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. Kelson still looking for that strikeout. Kelson looks in. 1-2, excuse me. Kelson now looks in. And he will now set, deliver, swung on a chop. That is right field side and foul. So West able to keep himself alive. And the count will stay 1-2 to West. 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. It is still runners on second and third for the Mohawks. It's just the bats that need to get going for the Pioneers. They knew coming into this ballgame that they were going to need to score runs. Amsterdam is a high-powered offensive team. Has not happened so far. Kelson 1-2. will now set, deliver. That is upstairs and outside for ball 2. So the count now will even up at deuces wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 3rd. There have been a couple moments already in this ballgame where the Pioneers and the Mohawks have almost hit home runs. 3 of those instances so far, 2 going the Pioneers' way. Still waiting for the first one in this one. Hopefully it does not come here. 2-2. Kelton will set, deal, swung on a pop back foul. Left field side this time, and so once again, West able to just keep himself alive. West doing what Bear did a few at-bats ago, where he was able to just foul off of Seppings and keep himself alive. Kelton still deuces wild, reaches the scoreboard. Will now set, deal, swung on it, popped up off the end of the bat. Muzio coming underneath it. Presto will actually field it. He will catch it. And that will be a pop out by West to end the bottom of the 3rd inning. And that will keep the damage to only one run given up by Kelton. We go to the top of the 4th. The Pioneers are going to have to answer right after this.
Owned and operated since 1905. At the Hilliard Corporation, we've proven ourselves time and time again as the leading industrial manufacturer in the Elmira and Southern Tier region. We make the products you need with the quality you and your business deserve. Industrial clutches and brakes, drivetrain products, filtration equipment, engine starters, braking systems.
Welcome back here to the Pioneers live stream. It's the top of the 4th inning. Amsterdam Mohawks lead it 1-0 in game 1 of this championship series between the Pioneers and the Mohawks. It is still Jack Seppings out there for the Mohawks, and leading off this inning for the Pioneers, it'll be number 44, Chris Bear, the second baseman. Bear struck out in his first at-bat. Seppings now will set, deal, swung on a pop-back foul by Bear, and the count will go 0-1. Pioneers now have to answer as they are down 1-0 already to Amsterdam in this one. Trying to get the bats going. The top of the order has been potent so far for the Pioneers. Just need the bottom of the order to come around. 0-1. Seppings now will set, deal. That is in there. Called strike 2 on another. I believe that was a slider actually. 0-2 the count to Bear. No outs here in the top of the 4th. Seppings looks in 0-2. And now he will set, deliver, swung on a pop. That is over to short. And shortstop Houston will field it, throw to first in time. And that will be 1 away. Ground out by Bear will put 1 out here in the top of the 4th. And now that'll bring up number 14, Jake Keller, the first baseman tonight. Keller grounded out in his first at-bat. Seppings will look in with 1 out here in the top of the 4th. I don't know how long Seppings is going to go, as normally he's the closer. So I was only expecting 4 or 5 innings, but there is no action in the Amsterdam bullpen. Seppings will set, deal, swing, and a miss by Keller. And the count will go 0-1. 0-1 the count to Keller. 1 out here in the top of the 4th. Seppings, 0-1. He will now set, deliver. That is down low and away for ball 1, and that one got by the catcher. So the count will even up at aces wild. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here at the top of the 4th to Keller. Seppings will set, deal, swing and a miss by Keller on a slider going away from him. And the count will go 1-2 now to Keller. 1 out here in the top of the 4th. Keller trying to get a base hit at the bottom of the order, needs to pick up some base hits here for Elmira. Seppings will set, deal, that is upstairs for ball 2. So the count will go 2-2 now as it evens up to Keller. Still 1 out here in the top of the 4th. And now the catcher wants to have a word with Seppings here before this 2-2 pitch to Keller. Nobody on for the Pioneers. 1 out here in the top of the 4th. Keller just needs to get on it anyway, whether that's an error, whether that's a walk, or whether that's a base hit. The Pioneers just need base runners at this point because they have had them throughout this ball game, but they just haven't been able to convert, and so they need to try and get some more with low number outs, 1 out or no outs. 2-2, Seppings will set, deal, swung on it, driven into right. Going back is the right fielder at the wall. He will make the play, and that'll be a fly out by Keller. And the right fielder had to go all the way up against the wall to make that play, but he did make it. And that'll put 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. And now that'll bring up number 30, Cam Levesque, the center fielder. Levesque struck out in his first at-bat. That was a well-hit ball by Keller. Just simply could not get down. A right fielder covered all that ground. Like I said before, there's a lot less room for the outfielders to cover. So unless it's a line drive or a home run, it's getting caught. Swing and a miss by Levesque. And the count will go 0-1. 0-1 the count to Levesque. 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. Seppings 0-1 will now step off the rubber as time is granted. As there's a piece of turf that came off the batter's box. And so that piece of turf is being thrown to the bat boy for Amsterdam. 0-1 the count to Levesque. 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. Seppings now will set, deliver. That is down low and away for ball 1. That one also got by the catcher. The count will go 1-1 to Levesque. 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. Seppings 1-1. Shakes off 1 pitch, shakes off 2 pitches. And now he will set, deal, swung on it, chopped over to third. Third baseman will field it, throw to first, well in time. A 1-2-3 inning for Jack Seppings in the top of the 4th. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Amsterdam still leads it 1-0 in game 1 of this championship series. Welcome back here to the Pioneers live stream. It's the bottom of the 4th inning here. Pioneers still down to the Mohawks 1-0 in game 1 of this championship series. It'll still be Joseph Kelson out there for the Pioneers to start the bottom of the 4th. And leading off this inning for the Mohawks, it'll be number 5, Merrick Houston, their shortstop. Houston struck out in his first at-bat against Kelson. Kelson just needs to try and get through this inning as cleanly as possible and get the bats back up for the Pioneers. Kelson now. He will now set, deal, that is down low and away for ball 1. So 1-0 the count to Houston. No outs here in the bottom of the 4th. The Pioneers, this is not a friendly score to them. 1-0 has not been a good score for the Pioneers so far, as that one is outside for ball 2. As the Pioneers have lost twice during the regular season on 1-0 score lines. So Pioneers trying to answer back. Kelton will set deal. That is away for ball 3. 3-0 the count to Houston, and this has not been a good start for Kelton here in this inning. Kelton needs a strike in this pitch to get back in the count. 3-0. Kelton now will set deal. That is upstairs, ball 4. That'll be a leadoff walk for Houston, but a runner on first for the Mohawks with no outs here in the bottom of the 4th. And now that'll bring up number 10, Zach Eldred, the right fielder. Eldred doubled in his first at-bat. Eldred will be stepping in here with no outs and a runner on first already for Amsterdam. Kelton now will look in. Kelton now will nod, and that means he's checking over, and he will check over, and the tag will be put down, but not in time. So it'll still be Houston over there as he is safe. Kelton now will set deal. Swing and a miss by Eldred, and the count will go 0-1. So 0-1 the count to Eldred. No outs here in the bottom of the 4th. The double play is available for Kelton. It would put 2 outs on the board. That's probably the best case scenario for him here in this at-bat. Kelton 0-1. Will now set, deliver. That is outside for ball 1. So the count will now even up 1-1 to Eldred. No outs here in the bottom of the 4th. I think what's happened here is that the Amsterdam Mohawks have just stopped swinging at the off-speed pitches from Kelton. Kelton's been throwing away, and he's been getting swings and misses. He just simply hasn't been getting it in the last couple innings. Kelton will set deal. That is popped back foul. And also, Houston was going to try and steal second, but since he was fouled away, he will have to go back to first. 1-2 the count to Eldred here. No outs in the bottom of the 4th. It'd be very nice if Kelton can get the strikeout here. Kelton 1-2. And now he'll check over to first again and puts the tag down. Keller did, but not in time to get Houston out. So Houston is still safe over there at first for Amsterdam. 1-2 the count. Kelton looking for the strikeout. He will now nod again. No, he will throw. That is swung on and fouled back left field side. So the count will stay 1-2 to Eldred. No outs here in the bottom of the 4th. This so far has been the exact opposite of game 1 of last year's series between Batavia and Amsterdam. That was a 7 home run derby ball game and a wild finish. Amsterdam did end up winning that game. And that is swung on a chop. That is foul. Down the right field line again. That was just foul, about 2 or 3 feet foul. Keller went for it, but could not get to it. 1-2 still to count to Eldred. No outs here in the bottom of the 4th. Kelton is still looking for that strikeout. It would be his 4th of the ball game. Kelton looks in 1-2. And he will set, deliver, swung on a pop back to Kelton. Kelton will field it, throw to first in time, and that will be 1 away. So ground out by Eldred will put 1 out on the board here in the bottom of the 4th, but the runner in Houston was able to advance to second. So 1 out, but a runner at second for Amsterdam. And now that'll bring up number 27, Bryce Hubbard, the designated hitter. Hubbard struck out in his first at-bat. Kelton now will look in. Kelton looks over to, Houston off second, and now he will set deal. That is upstairs outside for ball 1. Ball 1. So 1-0 the count to Hubbard. 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th. Kelton 1-0. Kelton will now set, deliver, swing and a miss by Hubbard, and the count will go 1-1 now. So ace is wild, actually, the count, as it goes 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th. Kelton still looking for that elusive 4 strikeout. Or no, it's still 1-1 count. He can't even get the strikeout here. Kelton will now set, deal. That is in there, called strike 2. Now he can, as the count has now gone to 1-2. Scoreboard messed me up on that one. So 1-2 is the true count to Hubbard. 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th. Kelton will look in. Now he will look over to Houston off second. Kelton looking for the strikeout. As he will now set, deliver, swung on a pop back foul. Left field side and up and over the stadium. And so the count will stay 1-2 to Hubbard. Still 1-2 the count to Hubbard. 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th. Kelton 1-2 will now set, deal. That is in there, just down low. Come on. For ball 2, I thought that was called strike 3 all the way. That looked in the bottom left corner. Umpire says it's too low. Count will even up at 2-2 to Hubbard. Kelton can still pick up the strikeout here. Kelton 2-2 will now set, deal, swung on and driven over to Bear at second. Bear will field it, throw to first in time. And so that will be a ground out by Hubbard to put 2 outs on the board. But once again, Houston does advance to third now. So runner on third for the Mohawks with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. Kelton needs to find this last out to get himself out of this inning. And the last out, hopefully for Kelton, will be number 8, Jared Johnson, the left fielder. Johnson, grounded out in his first at bat, and that one is down low for ball 1. 1-0 the count to Johnson, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. Kelton 1-0. You will now set, deliver, swung on a pop back foul, left field side. And the count will even up at 1-1. 1-1 the count to Johnson, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. Kelton looks in, 1-1. He will now set, deal. That is down low for ball 2. So 2-1 the count to Johnson as he will take the lead in the count. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. Kelton looks in, 2-1. Still a runner on third in Houston. Will set, deal, swing and a miss by Johnson. The count now will even up at deuces wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. Kelton looking for his 4th strikeout to end the bottom of the 4th inning. Kelton 2-2. Will now set, deal, swung on it, popped over to first and Keller. Keller will field it and tag up himself at first for the final out. 3 straight ground outs for Kelton to end the bottom of the 4th inning. Still the score is 1-0 Amsterdam as we go to the top of the 5th with the Pioneers who will look to answer right after this. Welcome back to the Pioneers live stream. Pioneers still down 1-0 to the Mohawks as Seppinger now will set, deliver, swung on a pop back foul by Bisaccia, and the count will go 0-1. And yes, it is number 22, Nick Bisaccia, the designated hitter tonight, up at the plate. He's leading off for the Pioneers in this top of the fifth. It is still Jack Seppings, Seppings out there for the Mohawks. 0-1, Seppings now will set, deal, swing and a miss. And the count will go 0-2 now to Bisaccia. Pioneers just trying to get something from the bottom of their order. It's only been the top three guys that have done anything for the Pioneers. Really just Muzio and Schroeder. Seppings 0-2 will now set, deliver. That is upstairs outside. I thought that was going to be called strike three, to be honest. So Bisaccia catches a break and the count will go 1-2. 1-2 the count to Bisaccia. No outs here in the top of the fifth. A leadoff base hit or a walk would be massive for the Pioneers. They need base runners. Seppings will set, deal, swung on a pop back foul by Bisaccia on the curveball from Seppings, so the count will stay at 1-2. 1-2 still the count to Bisaccia. No outs here in the top of the fifth. Seppings 1-2. He will now look in. Shakes off one pitch. And now he will set, deal, swung on a pop back foul into the netting. And Bisaccia able to once again keep himself alive. The count will stay 1-2. Still 1-2 the count. No outs here in the top of the fifth. Seppings 1-2. He will now set, deliver, swing and a miss by Bisaccia. He goes down on the curveball. And that'll be another strikeout for Seppings. That is his fifth of the day. And that will put one out here in the top of the fifth. And now that'll bring up the hometown boy, number 24, Eric Charnetsky, the left fielder, struck out in his first at-bat. Charnetsky did have a 3-run homer in round one of the playoffs for the Pioneers. And in this ballpark, at any moment, the game can be changed. Seppings will set, deal. That is in there. Cold strike one. Only one the count to Charnetsky. One out here in the top of the fifth. There is a pitcher starting to warm in the bullpen for the Mohawks. Seppings will set, deal. That is upstairs for ball one. So the count will even up at aces wild. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the top of the fifth. Seppings 1-1. He will now set, deal, check swing, down low. They're going to say he did not go. So the count will go 2-1 in Charnetsky's favor. Two and one the count now to Charnetsky. Seppings will set, deal. That is in there. Called strike two. Or no, they did. It was a 1-2 count. And Seppings gets back-to-back strikeouts as that is called strike three. So that'll put 2 outs on the board here in the top of the fifth. And now that'll bring up number 2, Dom Presto, the shortstop, as we are back to the top of the order for the Pioneers. I thought that was called ball two, and in fact, it was called strike two. So Charnetsky strikes out on the fastball. And we are back to the top of the order. 2 outs here in the top of the fifth. Seppings will set, deal, swung on a pop-back foul by Presto. And the count will go 0-1. I think really the best chance for the Pioneers to get runs is to get Muzio and Schroeder up and have one of them hit a home run. Muzio's was 2 feet away from being a home run in this ballpark. Seppings will set, deal. That is down low for ball one. Or have Presto hit one, to be honest, because he almost hit one on the very first pitch of the ball game. But I think the home run ball is the only way the Pioneers are going to get back. They just haven't consistently been able to get base runners so far in this ball game. Seppings 1-1. Shakes off 2 pitches. And now he will set, deal, swung on a chop back foul by Presto, right field side. And the count will go 1-2. 1-2 the count to Presto. 2 outs here in the top of the fifth. Presto looking to get a base hit or a home run or a walk, any of those 3. Seppings 1-2 will now set, deliver. That is outside, ball 2. So the count will even up at 2-2. So Deuces Wild reads the scoreboard here in the top of the fifth. Seppings looks in 2-2. Now he will set, deal, swung on it, chop back. Presto just able to stay alive there and foul that one back. So the count will stay at Deuces Wild to Presto here in the top of the fifth. Claps here going at Amsterdam for Seppings. Seppings, Deuces Wild will look in. And now he will set, deal, swung on a pop back foul. Presto battling here in this at bat. Presto battling, keeping himself alive, keeping this inning alive for the Pioneers. It is still deuces wild. Seppings looks in 2-2. Seppings now will set, deal, swing in his pop back foul, and Presto is going to be able to run to first, and he'll be safe as the catcher completely lost that. So I believe that is going to be a reach by error, or they're going to award him the base hit. We're going to have to find out. And so while I'm waiting to find out whether that's going to be an error or a base hit, that'll bring him number 77, Joe Muzio, the third baseman, who has singled in his first at-bat, doubled in his second at-bat. He's been the one doing a lot of the damage for the Pioneers so far today. He would love to get a home run here. And Muzio's double was about 2 feet from being a home run over the right field wall. So really, if Muzio can get another one like that and just get it a little bit farther, this will be a 2-1 ball game. 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. Seppings shakes off one pitch. And now Seppings will set, deal, swing and a miss by Muzio. And the count will go 0-1. And so I'm going to award Presto a reach by error on that. I'm just going to say it's a reach by error for Presto. They haven't awarded him anything yet. The scoreboard hasn't changed. So for now, I'm going to say it's a reach by error. Seppings 0-1, that count to Muzio. As he will now check over to Presto on first. Presto able to get back in time. Seppings 0-1, looks into Muzio. Seppings now will set, deal, swung in his pop back foul. That might have been a broken batter. That might have come off of Muzio. It was hard to tell. He's holding his wrist as if it came off of him. The count will go 0-2 to Muzio. 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. It is still Dom Presto over there at first. Seppings shakes off one pitch, 0-2. And he will set, deliver. That is going to be outside, ball 1. So 1-2 the count out of Muzio. That was a good take on a fastball, low and away. 1-2 the count to Muzio. 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. Pioneers, they would love Muzio to get a home run to try and just break this game open. Seppings has given up base hits, but he hasn't given up any runs. Pioneers looking to change that. Seppings 1-2 will now set, deal, swing and a miss by Muzio. He will be out, and that will end the top of the 5th. A strikeout for Seppings. That's his 6th of the ball game, or excuse me, actually his 7th, and that will end the top of the 5th. Amsterdam still leads it 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the 5th right after this.
Bully for you.
I was actually a passenger on the bus. Sitting on the bus, I looked up and I saw we are hiring. So I called up the number, I came in for an interview, and I started driving. My name is Randy Ramnarayan. I'm the Director of Transportation here at TransDev, and I've been here on property for 16 years. People come up to you and say, hey, I remember you as an operator, and you did this for me. And it just overwhelms me, and it makes me so joyful to know that I made a difference. Everyone from the CEO, COO, all the way down, it's the same message. Customer engagement, employee engagement. This is what we do here at TransDev.
Have a nice day.
It's not a job that you gotta drag yourself out of bed to get here. You wake up every morning excited to be here.
Welcome back here to the Pioneers live stream. It's the bottom of the 5th inning here. Pioneers still down to the Mohawks, 1-0. It is still Joseph Kelton out there for the Pioneers to start the bottom of the 5th. Leading off this inning for the Mohawks, it'll be number 12, Gage Miller, the third baseman. Miller grounded out in his first pitch, or excuse me, his first at bat, and then was hit by a pitch in his second at bat. Kelton sets, deals, that is down low and away for ball 1. So 1-0 count to Miller. No outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Kelson 1-0. He will now set, deal, swung on it, chopped over to third. Muzio will field it. Throw to first is going to be in time as Keller picks that one. And that will be a ground out by Miller to put one out on the board here in the bottom of the 5th. That's a good start for Kelson. And now that'll bring up number 2, Brewer Webster, the second baseman. So far, Webster has singled twice in his first 2 at-bats, and there's still a pitcher warming up in the bullpen for the Mohawks. There is no action in the Pioneers bullpen. Honestly, I'm hoping that the Pioneers can just get steppings out of this ball game as soon as possible. Kelson now will set, deal. That is outside ball 1 to Webster. So 1-0 the count, 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. Kelson 1-0. He will now set, deal, bunt laid down by Webster. No, he didn't. He actually missed it. And that is going to be strike 1. So the count will even up now at aces wild to Webster. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. And now Webster is taking his sweet time getting back into the box here. 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. It still reads aces wild. Kelson now will set, deal, swung on a pop back foul, left field side over the Pioneers dugout. And the count will go 1-2. 1-2 the count to Webster. 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. Kelson 1-2 as Webster once again taking his time getting back into the box. Kelson looking for that elusive 4th strikeout. Will now set, deal, swing, and his pop back foul. Webster just got a piece of it to keep himself going. So still 1-2 the count to Webster as once again he's taking his sweet time getting back into the box. He's now adjusting something. He's adding pine tar back onto his bat. Still 1-2 the count. 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. Kelson looks in 1-2. And now he will set, deal, swung on it, chopped over to Bear at second. Bear will field it, throw to first in time, and that will be another ground out for the Mohawks. That'll put 2 outs on the board here in the bottom of the 5th. A very nice start to this inning for Kelson. This has not been the type of innings that Kelson has been getting in so far in this ball game. He has struggled at times in this ball game to get the first couple outs, but he's been able to pitch his way out of jams before. But now in this inning, he's getting the exact opposite. 2 outs already with Luke Longo up at the plate. As that is lined into center. That is going to be a pick. What a grab by Levesque, and that will end the bottom of the 5th inning. What a diving grab by Levesque in center. And that will be a fly out to end the bottom of the 5th. That might have been the best catch of the year from any outfielder in the Pioneers. We go to the top of the 6th. Pioneers look to answer right after this. Welcome back here to the Pioneers live stream. It's the top of the 6th inning here. Pioneers still down to the Mohawks, 1-0. It'll be a new pitcher on the mound for the Mohawks here in number 40, Peyton Fall. Fall, I've been told, has been one of the most recent additions to the Amsterdam roster. Excuse me. He has a 0 ERA in 1 start. He only threw 4 innings, gave up 1 hit and 2 walks, along with 3 strikeouts in his 1 start. So this is kind of a wild card from the Mohawks here. So perhaps the Pioneers' luck can change. And of course, it'll be their most powerful bat leading off here in the top of the 6th, as it'll be number 10, John Schroeder, the catcher, who will be leading off. He singled in his first at-bat, walked in his second at-bat. So Schroeder will step in here to face Falls. And Schroeder has already switched hitting. He was hitting in the right batter's box before. He is now hitting in the left, as that is ball 1 outside from Fall, excuse me. So 1-0 the count to Schroeder. No outs here in the top of the 6th. Fall now, 1-0. Will now set, deal, swing and a miss by Schroeder. And the count will go 1-1. 1-1 the count to Schroeder. No outs here in the top of the 6th. Fall now shakes off 2 pitches and now will nod. 1-1. Fall will set, deal, swing and a miss by Schroeder again. And the count will go 1-2. 1-2 the count to Schroeder. No outs here in the top of the 6th. Fall is a left-handed pitcher. I feel like everybody just throws left-handers at the Pioneers in terms of who they face in terms of pitching. Fall 1-2 will now set, deal, swing and a miss by Schroeder. He will go down swinging, and that will put 1 out on the board here in the top of the 6th. And maybe it's for a reason why the Pioneers always get left-handed pitchers against them. And so now that'll bring up number 8, Cooper Smith, the right fielder. Smith reached on a fielder's choice in his first at-bat, grounded out in his second at-bat. Fall now. Will now set, deal, swung on it, driven into left center. That might get down. No, it won't, as that'll be a fly out to the left fielder. It just couldn't get down, and that'll immediately put 2 outs on the board here for the Pioneers in the top of the 6th. And now that'll bring up number 44, Chris Bear, the second baseman. Bear struck out in his first at-bat, grounded out in his second at-bat. 2 outs here in the top of the 6th already. Fall will look in. And now he will set, deal, that is in there, called strike 1, fastball inside. Count will go 0-1 to Bear, 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. Fall 0-1, will look in. And now he will set, deal, that is down low and away for ball 1. So the count will now even up, 1-1 to Bear. 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. At this ballpark, pretty much anybody in the Pioneers lineup can hit a home run. So at any moment, this game can be changed. Pioneers just looking for that break. Fall 1-1 will set, deal, swung on a pop, over to short. Third baseman actually will field it, throw to first, will be in time, and that'll be a ground out. A 1-2-3 inning for Peyton Fall. No runs for the Pioneers in the top of the 6th. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Mohawks still lead it 1-0. Welcome back here to the Pioneers live stream. It's the bottom of the 6th inning here. Mohawks still lead it 1-0 in game 1 of this PGCBL Championship Series over the Pioneers. It'll still be Joseph Kelson out there to start the bottom of the 6th for the Pioneers. And leading off this inning for the Mohawks, it'll be number 30, Cam Gurney, the extra hitter. Gurney reached on a fielder's choice in his first at-bat, and then RBI singled in his second at-bat. Kelson now will set, deal, that is in there, called strike one on another beautiful curveball. Count will go 0-1 to Gurney. No outs here in the bottom of the 6th. Kelson 0-1 will now set, fire, swung on a pop back foul, that is left field side and way out of play, so the count will go 0-2. 0-2 the count to Gurney. No outs here in the bottom of the 6th. A strikeout for Kelson would be a good start. Kelson 0-2. Will now set, deal, swung on a driven, that's a base hit into center. And that'll be a single for Gurney. So put a runner on first with no outs here in the bottom of the 6th. And now that'll bring up number 1, Jalen DeBose, the center fielder. Struck out in his first at-bat, grounded out in his second at-bat. It'll be Gurney on first, DeBose at the plate for the Mohawks. No outs here in the bottom of the 6th. Kelson now looks in, no action in the Pioneers bullpen, none in the Mohawks bullpen as well. Kelson will set, deal, that is going to be a bunt laid down, that is foul and out of play. So the count will go 0-1 to DeBose. DeBose tried to get cheeky and lay down a bunt. It did not work. 0-1 the count. It is still going to be Gurney off first. DeBose at the plate, 0-1 the count. Kelson will look in as DeBose will step back into the batter's box. Kelson, 0-1. He will now set, deal, another bunt attempt laid down. It is fouled back. And so the count will go 0-2 to DeBose. DeBose is going to have to swing at one of these. 0-2 the count to DeBose. No outs here in the bottom of the 6th. It is still Gurney off of first. Kelson looks in, 0-2. Now he will set, deal, that is upstairs, ball 1. 1-2 the count to DeBose. No outs here in the bottom of the 6th. Kelson 1-2. Looks in. Kelson now. Will now set, deal, that is down low, ball 2. On a curveball that was just a little bit down. So 2-2 the count now to DeBose. Still no outs here in the bottom of the 6th. Kelson 2-2. Will now set, deal, swung on a driven. That's going to be to second at Bear. Bear will turn to Presto at second. Throw to first is not in time. So that will just be a fielder's choice out. DeBose will be safe at first, but the runner on second in Gurney will be out. So that is a pretty good play for the Pioneers. They almost turned 2. That'll put one out here in the bottom of the 6th and bring up number 20, Jackson West, the catcher. West reached on an error in his first at-bat, popped out in his second at-bat. Carlson looks into West. One out here in the bottom of the 6th. It is now DeBose over there at first. Kelson now will set, deal, that is down low and away for ball 1. So 1-0 the count to West. One out here in the bottom of the 6th. Kelson 1-0. We'll look in and now he looks over to DeBose on first. Kelson now. Well, he's nodding, so I think he's going to check over. He will not. That is going to be chopped over to Presto at short. Presto will throw to first in time. So that'll be another fielder's choice out. Or no, that'll just be a ground out for West as he'll be out at first. So that'll put 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. And that will allow DeBose to go to second for the Mohawks. So a runner in scoring position with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. And now that'll bring up number 5, Merrick Houston, the shortstop for the Mohawks. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. So far, Houston struck out in his first at-bat, walked in his second at-bat. That is ball 1 away from Houston. So the count will go 1-0 to Houston. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. It is still DeBose off of second. Kelson looks over to DeBose. And now he will set, deal. That is down low for ball 2. Schroeder missed it, and now cannot throw to third. So DeBose is going to reach third off that missed play by Schroeder. So the count will go 2-0 to Houston. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th, and a runner on third for the Mohawks. Kelson needs to keep this at a only 1-0 ball game. Kelson 2-0, looking to try and get back in the count. Will set, deal. That is upstairs, ball 3. 3-0 the count to Houston. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. It wouldn't be the end of the world if Kelson were to walk Houston, as he still needs just 1 out anyway. Kelson now 3-0, will now set, deal. That is in there, called strike 1. Houston was walking away. He has to come back. So 3-1 the count now to Houston. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th, and I think the sound crew even got a little bit premature on that as they started playing music because they thought it was a walk. Kelson 3-1 will set, deal. That is in there, called strike 2, and Houston once again has to come back. He was walking away. So now full count, 3-2. Kelson, if he picks up the strikeout here, the crowd is going to be furious. 3-2, Kelson now will set, deal, swung on a pop-back foul by Houston, and he will stay alive. And the count will stay at 3-2. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. A strikeout ends the inning for Kelson. A walk keeps it going for Amsterdam. Kelson 3-2. He will now set, deal, swung on a driven into left. That is going to be foul. That is going to be foul, and everyone's going to have to come back. And that is such a lucky break as that was literally on the line. That could not have been closer, and that would have easily been an RBI double for the Mohawks. But instead, it is just a foul ball, and the count will stay at 3-2. Wow, what a break there for Kelson. That was the closest I've ever seen it being called foul. So the count will stay 3-2 as Houston has to come back. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. Kelson looks in, 3-2. Needs to find the strikeout. It'd be his 4th of the ball game. To get out of this inning, Kelson will set, deal. That is down low and away, ball 4. And that will be a walk for Houston. And so that'll put runners on the corners for the Mohawks with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. And now Coach Drum wants to have a word with Kelson. And there is a pitcher, it looks like, starting to warm over there in the bullpen for the Pioneers. I think that is number 25, Griffin Yastrzemski. And so it'll be number 10, Zach Eldred, the right fielder, who will be up at the plate here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. And runners on 1st and 3rd for the Mohawks. Yastrzemski starting to warm. Kelson, if he gets out of this inning, will have already thrown 6. So it's been a good start for Kelson. Only giving up 1 run on 5 hits. They're looking to keep it that way. Kelson just needs to try and find a way to get out number 10, Zach Eldred. 1 out ends the inning. Anything else will probably score at least 1 run for the Mohawks. Kelson looks in. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. Kelson looks in. He's nodding, and now he's going to check over to first. Yep, that's his tell. And so Kelson will not be able to get that pinch throw out there. It would have been nice to get Houston out, but unfortunately he is still safe. Houston on first, and it is DeBose on third as that is a ball outside for ball 1. So 1-0 the count to Eldred. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. Kelson looks in 1-0. And now he will set, deal, down low and away for ball 2. 2-0 the count to Eldred. Kelson does not want to walk Eldred here as that would load the bases for the Mohawks. He needs to try and find 1 more out. Kelson 2-0. Looks in. Trying to get back in the count. He will set, deal, swing and a miss by Eldred. And the count will go 2-1. So 2-1 the count to Eldred. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. Kelson looks in 2-1. Trying to get one more out, whether it's a ground out, pop out, strikeout, does not matter. Kelson 2-1. Will now set, fire. That is outside, upstairs, ball 3. 3-1 the count now to Eldred. And this is dangerous for Kelson here. He's in danger of loading the bases for the Mohawks. Kelson looks in 3-1. Now he will set, deal. That is down low and away, ball 4. And so that'll be back-to-back walks for Kelson here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. And I think Kelson's at the end of his rope. And Yastrzemski's starting to warm in the bullpen. And I think this will probably be Kelson's last inning, to be honest. And now that'll bring up number 20. Or no, they're going to pinch hit here. The Mohawks are pinch hitting here with bases loaded in the bottom of the 6th with 2 outs. It is number 9, Mason Swinney, who is pinch hitting here. Swinney is pinch hitting for number 27, Bryce Hubbard. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Kelson needs to try and find an out here. If he doesn't, this ball game could be blown wide open. Kelson now will set, deal. That is down low and away for ball 1. 1-0 the count to Swinney. Kelson has no room for error here. If he walks Swinney, that walks in a run. Kelson 1-0. Needs to try and find something here. I don't think Swinney's going to be prone to swinging, and he isn't, as that's called strike 1. Swinney's going to literally just test to see if Kelson can throw enough strikes to strike him out. The count will even up at 1-1. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. Kelson 1-1. As he will now set, deliver. That is down low and away for ball 2. So Swinney will take the lead in the count 2-1. And once again, Swinney has taken 3 straight pitches. I don't think he's going to swing a one. I think he's just going to see if Kelson can actually throw a strike. Kelson 2-1. He will now set, deal, swung on a pop-back foul. That would have been a strike if Swinney hadn't swung at it. So the count will even up at deuces wild there. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. Kelson needs to find this strikeout right here, right now. This is the biggest at bat of the ball game. Kelson 2-2, looking to get out of this inning. He will now set, deliver. That is down low and away for ball 3. This is the biggest pitch of the ball game here, ladies and gentlemen. 3-2 the count to Swinney. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. If Swinney's walked, that walks in a run, and it's a 2-0 ball game. Kelson 3-2. And he will now set, deliver. That is in there. Call strike 3. He struck him out. That is the strikeout for Kelson that he needed. And that will be the 4th strikeout of the ball game for Kelson. The crowd hates it, but it does not matter. We go to the top of the 7th. It is only a 1-0 ball game.
We engineer, manufacture, and distribute them. All of the products we manufacture are designed right here, so we truly know the products we provide for you, inside and out. On top of being an industrial manufacturer, at the Hilliard Corporation we also serve as a weld shop and machine shop. We specialize in creating custom parts and pieces to fit particular and uncommon applications. The secondary location is the home of the drivetrain division, where products for Polaris and other vehicle manufacturers are made. This is a high-volume, celled manufacturing plant that produces thousands of parts daily. Over time, Hilliard's product line has diversified, but our company has stayed true to our Elmira roots. Today, Hilliard maintains its original location while continually expanding its motion control and filtration product lines in the Elmira area. Hilliard designs and manufactures for companies around the globe, occupying more than 500,000 square feet and employing about 500 people. Taking pride in serving the Elmira community for over a century, the Hilliard Corporation.
For more than a century, you've counted on Arnett Health. Counted on us to heal you, support you, encourage you, get you back on your feet. And for more than a century, Arnett has counted.
Welcome back here to the Pioneers live stream. It's the top of the 7th inning here. Pioneers still down to the Mohawks 1-0. It'll still be Peyton Fall out there for the Mohawks to start the bottom of the 7th. And leading off this inning for the Pioneers, it'll be number 14, Jake Keller, the first baseman. Keller grounded out in his first at-bat, flew out in his second at-bat. Pioneers just looking to get off this 1-0 death of a scoreline. Pioneers have lost in this exact final twice during the regular season. I do not want to see them lose game 1 on a 1-0 score. That would be a brutal way to end it. 0-1 the count as Keller pops that one foul. Fall looks in 0-1. And now he will set, deliver, that is in there. Cold strike 2, fastball right down Broadway. 0-2 the count to Keller. No outs here in the top of the 7th. A leadoff base hit or a leadoff walk would be fantastic for the Pioneers. Or a home run, just homer. That also works. Paid Fall will set, deal. That is foul back, and the count will go 0-2. Still 0-2 the count to Keller. There have been no home runs in this ball game. Pioneers, I hope, will change that in this inning, would be preferred. 0-2, Fall now will set, deal. Swing and a miss by Keller on a pitch away from him. And that'll put one out on the board here in the top of the 7th. And now that'll bring up number 30, Cam Levesque, the center fielder. Levesque struck out in his first at-bat, grounded out in his second at-bat. Fall will look in with one out here in the top of the 7th. And now he will set, deal, a bunt shown by Levesque as he took ball 1 outside. So 1-0 the count to Levesque, 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Fall now 1-0. He will now set, deliver, that is down low and away for ball 2. 2-0 the count to Levesque, 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Fall 2-0 as he will look in. Now he will set, deliver, that is in there, called strike 1. 2-1 the count now to Levesque, 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Fall 2-1. He will now nod. And now will set, deliver, swing and a miss by Levesque. And the count will go 2-2. 2-2 the count to Levesque as it evens up. 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Fall 2-2 looks in, shakes off one pitch. And now he will set, deliver, swung on a chop, that is foul, right field side. And the count will stay at 2-2. No Pioneers bats have been able to touch Fall so far. The left-handed pitchers, the Pioneers have not had a good history of hitting against. And that stays true so far in this inning. 2-2 the count to Levesque, 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Fall looks in. And now he will set, deal, swung on a pop-back foul. That is up and over our heads. So the count will stay at 2-2 to Levesque, 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Levesque fouling off and keeping himself alive here. Count still 2-2. Fall looks in. He will now set, deal, swung on a pop back, and that is in. Fall will field it, he will throw to first and just in time, and that'll be a ground out. Ground out by Levesque will put 2 outs on the board here in the top of the 7th. The bottom of the order continuing to do absolutely nothing for the Pioneers. As now that'll bring up number 22, Nick Bisaccia, the designated hitter. Bisaccia ground out in his first at-bat, struck out in his second at-bat. 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. It'll be another 1-2-3 inning for Peyton Fall. So far, he's 5 up, 5 down. No trouble. Fall now will look into Bisaccia. And he will now set, deal, that is down low for ball 1. 1-0 the count to Bisaccia. 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. Fall looks in 1-0. Now he will set deal. That is down low for ball 2. 2-0 the count to Bisaccia. 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. Fall looks in 2-0. A walk here from Bisaccia would not be a bad thing, as that would put the go-ahead run at the plate. Fall looks in 2-0. Shakes off 1 pitch, shakes off 2 pitches. And now he'll step off the mound, and now he wants to have a talk with the catcher. So now the catcher who's number 20, Jackson West, is now going to have a talk with Fall. Fall 2-0 the count. As the conversation's over. 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. Pioneers still just need to try and get that home run ball. Presto almost hit one on the very first pitch. Muzio almost hit one when he hit a double. It was off the back right wall. Nobody's hit a home run yet. Pioneers need to change that. I think that's their best way to try and get back. Fall will set deal. That is down low. Called strike 1. 2-1 the count to Bisaccia now. 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. Fall looks in 2-1. Fall will set deal. That is in there. Called strike 2. That was not a good take there by Bisaccia. And the count will even up at deuces wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. Fall looking for one more strike to get him out of this inning. Fall looks into Bisaccia. 2-2. Fall now will now set, deliver, swung on a pop back foul right field side, and Bisaccia able to stay alive. It looks like it's going to be Griffin Yastrzemski will be coming in to relieve Joseph Kelson in the next inning. Fall 2-2 will look into Bisaccia. And now he will set, deliver, swung on it, popped in the shallow center. And the second baseman will make the play, and that'll be a 1-2-3 inning for Peyton Fall. No trouble once again, as it's been 6 up, 6 down for Fall in 2 innings. We go to the bottom of the 7th, where it looks like it'll be Christian Zeeley on the mound when we come back. Welcome back here to the Pioneers live stream. It's the bottom of the 7th inning here. Pioneers still down to the Mohawks, 1-0. It'll be a new pitcher on the mound for the Pioneers, and number 16, Christian Zeeley, the first bullpen arm being used in the playoffs. Zeeley, making his 10th appearance, has 2 starts. He has a 3.16 ERA in 31 innings pitched. He's only given up 22 hits, 13 runs, 11 of those earned, 19 walks, and has 19 strikeouts. A 2-0 record with 2 saves. Last time we saw Zeile pitch was on the 27th of July at Auburn, where he threw 2 innings, gave up 2 earned runs on 4 hits, and had 2 strikeouts. And so now, leading off for the Mohawks in this inning, it will be another pinch hitter here. It's number 31, Eddie Yamin. Eddie Yamin is now pinch hitting. Yamin pinch hitting as he immediately skies one on the very first pitch. Muzio and Presto will come under and he will make the play. So that's a pop out by Yamin. It's about 1 out on the board here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And so now we go to the top of the order here for the Mohawks. The number 12, Gage Miller, the third baseman. Grounded out in his first at-bat, hit by a pitch in his second at-bat. Grounded out in his third at-bat. Zeile 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. As he will now set, deal, bunt laid down by Miller, but it is foul. And so the count will go on. I don't know what is up with Mohawks in trying to bunt with no runners on and an out already on the board. Like, that just makes 0 sense to me. Pioneers have actually been pretty good at getting the Mohawks bunts so far this ball game. It just doesn't make sense for them to continue to do it, especially with a pinch hitter. Or no, not a pinch hitter, it's a Miller backup. I thought it was still Yamin. 0-1 the count to Miller. Zeile now will set, deal, that is just outside, ball 1. So the count will now even up at Aces Wild here. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. Zeile 1-1, looks in. And now he will set, deal, that is down low and away for ball 2. So 2-1 the count to Miller as he will take the lead. 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. Zeile 2-1. As the Miller steps back in. Zeile now will now set, fire. That is down low and away for ball 3. So 3-1 the count now to Miller. Zeile trying to give up a walk, trying to avoid giving up a walk here. Zeile 3-1 needs to strike to get back in the count here. Still Griffin Yastrzemski is warming up there over in the bullpen for the Pioneers. Zeile 3-1 as he will now set, deal, that is in there, called strike 2, and Miller has to come back. That was a high fastball, and the crowd booing the call, but it does not matter. It will stand 3-2 the count as Miller will have to come back. The boos continuing to reign in here. This Amsterdam crowd has been rowdy. They have been hostile to us here throughout most of the ball game. 3-2 the count to Miller. 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. Zeile now will set, deal. That is down low and away for ball 4. So that'll be a walk for Gage Miller to put a runner on first for the Mohawks with 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. And now that'll bring up number 2, Brewer Webster, the second baseman. Webster so far has singled twice in his first 2 at-bats and then grounded out in his third at-bat. 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. The double play is available for Zeile that would get him out of this inning. Zeile now nods over to Schroeder. And he will now set, deal, that is in there just down low, ball 1. I thought that was going to be called strike 1, to be honest. 1-0 the count to Webster. 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. Zeile 1-0. He will now set, deliver. That is a bunt laid down and caught by Schroeder. That'll just be a foul ball, and so the count will even up at 1-1. So Aces Wild shows the scoreboard here. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. Still trying to get Webster out is Zeile. Zeile 1-1. As Webster finally steps back in. It is still Miller off first. Zeile now 1-1. Will now set, deal, swung on it, popped up, and in is coming Charneski. He will not make the play, and that gets by him. And now that'll just be a single as Levesque comes in and cuts it off. So that'll be a single for Webster to put runners on first and second for the Mohawks with one out here in the bottom of the seventh. And now that'll bring up number 39, number 34, Luke Longo, the first baseman. Longo was walked in his first at-bat, lined out in his second at-bat, flew out in his third at-bat. One out here in the bottom of the seventh, and now runners on first and second for the Mohawks. Zilli will set, deal, that is upstairs, ball one. 1-0 the count to Longo, one out here in the bottom of the seventh. Zilli 1-0. As he will now set, deal, that is down low and away for ball two, and now the runner at third is going to go. Muzio gets the tag, in time, he is out of there. And so that'll be a pickoff at third base to put 2 outs on the board here in the bottom of the seventh. A beautiful throw and catch by Schroeder to Muzio. 2-0 goes the count to Longo, and the runner, who is Webster, did go to second. So a runner at second for the Mohawks. 2 outs here in the bottom of the seventh. 2-0 the count to Longo. Zilli shakes off 2 pitches. And now he will set, deal, that is down low and away for ball three. Schroeder gets away from him, and now Webster's going to go to third. So 3-0 the count to Longo, and a runner on third and Webster for the Mohawks. 2 outs here in the bottom of the seventh. Zilli just needs one more out in order to get himself out of this inning. But a runner on third and Webster is threatening. Amsterdam's knocking on the door. Zilli 3-0 will now set, deal, that is in there, called strike one. 3-1 the count to Longo. 2 outs here in the bottom of the seventh. Zilli 3-1. Needs another strike here. As he will now set, deliver, swing and a miss by Longo, and the count will go full now. Zilli, this would be the biggest strikeout of the ball game if he can get it here on this 3-2 count to Longo. And if Longo strikes out, that ends the bottom of the seventh. We go to the top of the eighth. Zilli 3-2. He will now set, deal, swung on it, popped into left, and that's a base hit. And it's a 2-0 ball game. And it's an RBI double for Longo. And all of a sudden, Amsterdam leads it 2-0. An RBI double by Luke Longo will score Webster. And so now that'll bring up number 30, Cam Gurney, the extra hitter. Gurney reached in a fielder's choice. In his first at-bat, RBI singled in his second at-bat, and then singled in his third at-bat. Runner on second and Longo with 2 outs here still in the bottom of the fifth. Zilli now, no count. Zilli will now set, deal, swung and a miss by Gurney, and the count will go 0-1. 0-1 the count to Gurney, 2 outs here in the bottom of the seventh. Zilli looks in 0-1. And now he will set, deliver, swung on it, popped into center, and that is going to be a fly out as Levesque will catch it, and so that will end the bottom of the seventh inning, but Zilli does give up a run, so it's 2-0. The Pioneers, if they don't answer in the top of the eighth, this ball game is almost over. We go to the top of the eighth to find out whether the Pioneers can answer right after this. Welcome back here to the Pioneers live stream. It's the top of the 8th inning here. Pioneers down now 2-0 to the Mohawks in game 1 of this championship series. It'll still be Peyton Fall out there for the Mohawks, and leading out this inning for the Pioneers, it'll be number 24, Eric Charnetsky, the left fielder. So far, Charnetsky has struck out twice in his first 2 at-bats. This ball game is not necessarily over, folks. Home run can very much bring the Pioneers back. Fall will set deal. That is in there. Called strike 1. Pioneers just need to get one. And preferably with a base runner or 2 on. That'd be nice. 0-1 the count to Charnetsky. No outs here in the top of the 8th. Fall 0-1 will now set, deliver. That is in there just down low and outside for ball 1. I'm surprised that was not called strike 2. 1-1 the count to Charnetsky. No outs here in the top of the 8th. Fall 1-1 will now set, deliver. That is upstairs, ball 2. 2-1 the count to Charnetsky. No outs here in the top of the 8th. Charnetsky needs to get on. He just needs to set the tone in this inning by getting on base, whether that's a base hit or whether that's a walk. He just needs to get on. Fall will set deal. That is a swing and a miss. And the count will even up at 2-2. A leadoff anything would be massive for the Pioneers just to give them something to root for. This pitching from Amsterdam, I expected it to be good, and it has been so far. They've only given up 3 hits the entire night. Fall 2-2. Will now set, deal, swung on a, popped into right. That is out of play. And so the count will stay at 2-2 to Charnetsky. No outs here, still on the top of the 8th. Fall looks in, 2-2. Now he's taking his time. Fall 2-2. As he will now set, deal, swing and a miss by Charnetsky. He goes down swinging. That is the 3rd strike of the night for Charnetsky. And that'll put 1 out here in the top of the 8th. And now we go back to the leadoff man who almost hit a home run in his first pitch that he saw. Presto so far tonight struck out in his first at-bat, grounded out in his second at-bat, reached on an error in his 3rd at-bat. 1 out here in the top of the 8th. Fall looks in. And now he will set, deliver. That is down low and away for ball 1. 1-0 the count to Presto. 1 out here in the top of the 8th. Presto has taken walks so many times. A base hit or a walk from him would be massive. They just need to get something going here. Fall 1-0 will now set, deal. That is down low and away for ball 2. 2-0 the count to Presto. 1 out here in the top of the 8th. A walk is a good thing for the Pioneers. They need base runners. Fall 2-0. He will now set, deliver. That is outside, ball 3. 3 straight balls from Fall, all outside. This might be a green light pitch for Presto to try and get that home run that he nearly had in the top of the 1st. Fall 3-0 to Presto. He will now set, deal. That is in there, called strike 1. Presto did not swing, and that was the pitch to swing at. 3-1 the count to Presto. 1 out here in the top of the 8th. Fall 3-1. I don't think he's going to go back into the middle of the plate like he did in that last pitch. I don't think Fall will. 3-1. Fall now. Will now set, deal. That is down low, ball 4. That'll be a walk for Presto. So runner on first for the Pioneers in the tying run is at the plate now at number 77, Joe Muzio, the 3rd baseman. Muzio almost hit a home run in his second at-bat when he doubled. It was 2 feet away from getting over that fence. He singled in his first at-bat as well, and then he struck out in his 3rd at-bat. Muzio has to get a base hit here. It is necessary that the top of the lineup, they have been good so far tonight. They need to get something here. Fall now with Presto off of first. Fall will look in, and now he will set, deliver. That is down low and away for ball 1. 1-0 the count to Muzio. 1 out here in the top of the 8th. There is a culmination of players over there in the bullpen for Amsterdam. I don't know if any of them are warming. Fall 1-0 as he will now set, deal. That is down low inside, called strike 1. And so the count will go aces wild. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the top of the 8th. Fall looks in 1-1. And now Fall will take his time and step off. Like I've said before, the Pioneers have struggled to hit off left-handers. They just do not do it all that well, I don't think. And so far, that's been the case with Fall here. Muzio's looking to change that. 1-1 the count. Fall now will set, deliver, swung on a pop-back foul right off of Muzio's back. And the count will go 1-2. 1-2 the count to Muzio. 1 out here in the top of the 8th. Muzio has to get a base hit here. We do not want to have the Pioneers with 2 outs on the board with Schroeder coming up. If Muzio can get a base hit, that brings up Schroeder, and he could potentially homer to give the Pioneers a lead if Muzio can get on. Fall 1-2. Muzio needs something here. 1-2, Fall now. Catcher sets him away, will set deal. That is way upstairs and outside for ball 2. That wasn't even close. A very good take by Muzio. Count will even up at 2-2 to Muzio. 1 out here in the top of the 8th. Runner on first in presto. If Muzio were to home run right here, right now, we would have a tie ball game. Fall 2-2. He will now set, deal, swing and a miss by Muzio. He goes down swinging. That is the 5th strikeout of the night for Peyton Fall. And that'll put 2 outs on the board in the top of the 8th. And now that'll bring on number 10, John Schroeder, the catcher. Schroeder singled in his first at-bat, walked in his second at-bat, struck out in his third at-bat. Schroeder needs to try and get something here. Needs it. Presto still off first, 2 outs. Schroeder will swing and driven into left. Going back in is the left fielder, and he will make the play. Are you kidding me? And he makes that, and that ends the inning. A fly by Schroeder ends the top of the 8th on a diving play by the left fielder. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Mohawks still lead it 2-0.
Owned and operated since 1905. At the Hilliard Corporation, we've proven ourselves time and time again as the leading industrial manufacturer in the Elmira and Southern Tier region. We make the products you need with the quality you and your business deserve. Industrial clutches and brakes, drivetrain products, filtration equipment, engine starters, braking systems. We engineer, manufacture, and distribute them. All of the products we manufacture are designed right here.
Welcome back here to the Pioneers live stream. It's the bottom of the 8th inning here. And Christian Zealy is back on the mound here in the bottom of the 8th, and it'll be number 1, Jalen DeBose, a center fielder, leading off for the Mohawks. Zealy now will set, deal. Now it is in there, called strike 1. 0-1 the count to DeBose. No outs here in the bottom of the 8th. Zealy 0-1 as he will now set, deliver. That is in there just outside for ball 1. 1-1 the count to DeBose. No outs here in the bottom of the 8th. Zealy isn't getting calls either. This umpire's not been great tonight. 1-1 the count. Zealy will set, deal. That is in there, called strike 2. 1-2 the count now to Zealy. No outs here in the bottom of the 8th. Zealy 1-2, looking for the strikeout. As he will now set, deal, swung on a pop back foul by DeBose. He just got a piece of it, and so he will stay alive at 1-2. No outs here in the bottom of the 8th. Zealy 1-2. He will now set, deal. That is down low for ball 2. So the count now even up at 2-2 to DeBose. No outs here in the bottom of the 8th. Zilly 2-2. As he will now set, deal, that is upstairs, ball 3. 3-2 the count now, 2 to Bose as it goes full here. No outs in the bottom of the 8th. Zilly 3-2. As he will now set, deal, that is down low and away, ball 4. That'll be a leadoff walk for DeBose, and to put a runner on first for the Mohawks with no outs here in the bottom of the 8th. And now that'll bring up number 20, Jackson West, the catcher. West reached on an error in his first at-bat, popped out in his second at-bat, grounded out in his third at-bat. Zilly now looks in to West. No outs here in the bottom of the 8th and a runner on first. Zilly looks in, and now he will set, deal, swung on a driven in to right. That's a base hit, and that's all the way to the corner. That might score a run. DeBose is going to come around, and he'll be held up at third. That is a double for West here, and that'll put runners on second and third for the Mohawks with no outs here in the bottom of the 8th. And now that'll bring up number 5, Merrick Houston, the shortstop. Houston struck out in his first at-bat, walked in his second at-bat, walked in his third at-bat. No outs here in the bottom of the 8th. And runners on second and third for the Mohawks. Mohawks looking to break this game more open than what it is. And any more runs in this game almost becomes impossible for the Pioneers to win it. Zealy now will set, deal, that is just outside, ball 1. 1-0 count to Houston, no outs here in the bottom of the 8th. No action in the Pioneers bullpen. They're gonna ride with Zealy until the end of this ball game. Zealy 1-0. As he will now set, deal, swung on a driven right to shortstop Presto, will throw to first in time. So that'll be a ground now by Houston to put 1 out on the board here in the bottom of the 8th. And now that will bring up number 10, Zach Eldred, the right fielder. Eldred doubled in his first at-bat, grounded out in his second at-bat, walked in his third at-bat. 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th, still runners on second and third for the Mohawks. Infield all the way in. Zilly now will now set, deal, swung on a chop foul, right field side, and the count will go 0-1. 0-1 the count to Eldred, 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. Zaley needs a strikeout to put 2 outs on the board or another ground out right to one of the infielders. Zaley 0-1. He will now set, deliver, bunt laid down. That is a good one, and the throw will not be in time, and that'll score a run. That is a single by Eldred, and it is a 3-0 ball game. And the Pioneers, it looks like they're going to have to win 2 games in games 2 and 3 in order to win the series. And they're going to be fighting for their lives tomorrow. I don't think they have a shot to come back. Runners on the corners, 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. And number 9, it is Mason Swinney who will be up at the plate in now a 3-0 ball game. Swinney still runners on the corner, so Mohawks can still do more damage and just pour it on here. Zaley now will now set, deal, swung on a chop. That's a base hit to the left, and that's exactly what happens. An RBI single makes it a 4-0 ball game. And yep, Pioneers are going to have to look to game 2 to try and rebound, as this one's going to Amsterdam. It's disappointing to say the least. I thought the Pioneers, this would be their best chance to win a game on the road, would be in game 1 when Amsterdam's pitching would be the most depleted and the bullpen was completely fresh, but they just simply have not been able to get a base hit. Only 3 hits the entire ball game. Bats inconsistency has been the downfall for the Pioneers many times before, and it is the downfall tonight. As he will deal ball 1 outside to number 8, Jared Johnson, the left fielder. 1-0 the count to Johnson, 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. Still runners on first and second for the Mohawks. That one is outside, ball 2. 2-0 the count to Johnson. If Zealy were to walk Johnson, that would once again load back up the bases for the Mohawks. Zilly 2-0. He will now set, deal, that is in there, called strike one. 2-1 the count out of Johnson, one out here in the bottom of the eighth. Zilly looks in 2-1, and now he will set, deal, swing and a miss by Johnson, and the count will go 2-2. Or no, it's Yamina. It's actually Yamina. That's not Johnson out there. I forgot, or that's Yaman, excuse me. As I forgot that they were pinch hitting Johnson, so that is Yaman. Zilly will now set, deal, swung on a pop. That is right field side and foul. So Yamin will stay alive here. Zilly looks in 2-2 the count. One out here in the bottom of the eighth. Still runners on first and second for the Mohawks. Yamin at the plate. Zilly now will set, deal, that is going to be inside ball three. Full count now to Yamin, 3-2. One out here in the bottom of the eighth. If Yamin is walked, that loads back up the bases. Zilly 3-2. As he will now step off and throw over to second and Bear, but Bear not able to get the tag up on Eldred as he is still safe over there at second. So full count still to Yamin. One out here in the bottom of the eighth. Zilly looks in 3-2. And now he will set, deal, swung on a popped up, in the right. Keller coming under it, and he will not be able to make it. He dropped it. And so Yamin will stay alive, and that just compounds. That just pretty much tells you the story of the ball game there, folks. As Keller drops it, and Yamin will stay alive, 3-2. One out here in the bottom of the eighth. Still runners on first and second. Zilly looks into Yamin. Zilly still 3-2. He will now set, deal, swung on a pop back foul, right field side, and Yamin still stays alive. Still 3-2. Zilly looks in 3-2 to Yamin still. One out here in the bottom of the eighth. Zilly now will set, deal, swung on a popped up again, and that is out of play. And so nobody has a chance to even get that, and the count will stay at 3-2. Still 3-2 the count to Yamin. One out here in the bottom of the eighth. Still runners on first and second for the Mohawks. Zilly looks in 3-2. And now he will set, deal, swung on a chop. That is foul, left field side. And so once again, Yamin is extending this at bat. Still 3-2 the count. One out here in the bottom of the eighth. Three and two now. Zilly will set, deal, that is just outside ball four. And that'll be a walk for Yamin to load the bases for the Mohawks here once again with one out here in the bottom of the eighth. And now that'll bring us up to the top of the order for the Mohawks. And number 12, Gage Miller, the third baseman. Miller grounded out in his first at-bat, hit by a pitch in his second at-bat, grounded out in his third at-bat, walked in his fourth at-bat. Still one out here in the bottom of the eighth, and now the base is loaded for the Mohawks. Zilly will look in, and now he will set, deal, that is down low and outside, ball one. 1-0 the count to Miller. If Zilly walks anybody at this point, that walks in a run. 1-0 the count to Zilly, one out here in the bottom of the eighth. Zilly 1-0. As he will now set, deal, swung on a chop. That is going to be right to Presto. Presto will turn to second, throw to first in time. And so that'll be a 6-4-3 double play to end the inning, and that keeps it a 4-0 ball game. We go to the top of the ninth where the Pioneers will have one last chance, and they have to have a homer. If they don't get a homer, they're not coming back. They need one. We go to the top of the ninth after this. Welcome back into the Pioneers live stream. Pioneers are down to their last 3 outs here in the top of the 9th inning. And so Pioneers need to get some base runners on, and then they need to hit a home run. That's the only way I can see Elmira being able to come back. They're down 4 runs here, and they've only gotten 3 hits off of the combined Amsterdam pitching. Peyton Fall is still out there as he sets deals strike 1 to Cooper Smith. So 0-1 the count to Smith. No outs here in the top of the 9th. Fall now 0-1. Well, now set deal that is in there. That is going to be ball 1 as that one got away from the catcher. So the count will even up at 1-1. No outs here in the top of the 9th. The thing is that Smith, Bear, Keller, and Levesque are the 4 batters up. It would have to be Smith and Bear getting on, and then Levesque getting a home run just to make it a competitive ball game. Fall will set deal that is upstairs ball 2. That's like the best case scenario, and then you're hoping that Basacci and Charnetsky can get back to the top of the order. That's the best case scenario for the Pioneers, and that's the way for them to come back. That's pretty much the only way, unless they're just going to crank all solo home runs. 2-1 to Smith. Ball will set deal. That is in there. Called strike 2. 2-2 the count to Smith as it'll even up. No outs here in the top of the 9th. Pioneers, it has just been a dismal showing of the bats today. They needed the bats in this ball game. Joseph Kelson kept them in it for a long time, but the bats could not deliver. Swing and a miss by Smith, and he goes down swinging. That's another strikeout for Fall, and that'll put 1 out here in the top of the 9th. Amsterdam 2 outs away from a 1-0 series lead, and for making it a do-or-die game 2 tomorrow in Elmira. And now that'll bring him to number 44, Chris Baird, the second baseman. Baird struck out in his first at-bat, grounded out in his second and third at-bats. Fall will set deal. That is inside, ball 1. 1-0 the count to Baird. 1 out here in the top of the 9th. The troubling thing for me is that this is by far the weakest that the Amsterdam pitching staff is going to be for this entire series. And so if the Pioneers can only get 3 hits off of the worst of the Amsterdam pitching staff, I can't even imagine what's going to happen when they have their best. 2-0 the count to Baird. 1 out here in the top of the 9th. Fall looks in 2-0. Now he will set, deliver. That is in there, called strike 1. 2-1 the count to Baird. 1 out here in the top of the 9th. Fall looks in 2-1. Shakes off 1 pitch. Now he will set, deal. That is upstairs and outside for ball 3. So 3-1 the count to Bear. 1 out here in the top of the 9th. Ball 3-1. Shakes off 1 pitch. And now we'll step off the rubber. Pioneers, hopefully, I'm hoping that the Pioneers can get the bats going at home. They are a much better home team than what they are the road team. And they get the bats going a lot more often at home. So I'm hoping that could be the case for tomorrow as that is fouled back by Bear. So the count will go 3-2 now. Full to Bear. 1 out here in the top of the 9th. The Pioneers, they need to get the bats going tomorrow early on. That's going to be the key for them as they haven't been able to do anything against Amsterdam. And Amsterdam had their lead in the 3rd inning. If the Pioneers can just replicate that tomorrow, then they'll be all right. But Pioneers, the bats is what's killing them because the pitching has been pretty solid. Fall will set deal. That is down low, ball 4. So that'll be a walk for Bear to put a runner on first for the Pioneers. So now, if number 14, Jay Keller, the first baseman, were to homer, it would at least be a 2-run homer. And of course, this field has been talked about so much about the home run ball. Not a single one today so far. And Keller has to change that here, or someone has to change in the Pioneers order, or otherwise this game is over. Amsterdam's 2 outs away, and now, are they going to go to a different pitcher? I don't think so, but they're at least having a mound talk. Now Amsterdam's pitching coach is having a word with Peyton Fall. have to see as Fall is staying in here. He is still going to be the pitcher on the mound for the Mohawks here. 1 out in the top of the ninth. Keller at the plate. Bear on first. Fall now, as Keller will take his time stepping into the batter's box. Fall will look in to Keller. Fall now. Will now set. Deal that is in there. Called strike one. 0-1 the count to Keller. 1 out here in the top of the ninth. Keller has to homer, or at least get on. If he strikes out here, that'd be devastating, because it's 1 out right now. If the Pioneers can keep it that way and just get a chain, they'll still be alive. Swing and a miss by Keller, and the count will go 0-2. 0-2 the count to Keller. 1 out here in the top of the ninth. Fall 0-2. Will now set. Deal that is upstairs, ball 1. So 1-2 the count to Keller. 1 out here in the top of the ninth. Fall 1-2 as he steps onto the rubber. Now looking to Keller. Swung on a popped up, skied into the infield by Keller. First baseman calls for it, and he will make the play. And that will put 2 outs on the board, and the Pioneers are down to their last out here in the top of the ninth in game 1 of this series. Like I said, they're going to have to rebound tomorrow, as I don't think there's any way the Pioneers can come back from 4 runs with 2 outs on the board in the top of the ninth. As now that'll bring up number 30, Cam Levesque, the center fielder. Levesque struck out in his first at-bat, grounded out in his last 2 at-bats. As everybody is on their feet here in Amsterdam, they can smell it. And that one is down low and away for ball 1 from Fall. So the count will go 1-0 to Levesque. 2 outs here in the top of the ninth. Still Bear over there at first for the Pioneers. Pioneers down to the last out here. Fall 1-0 as he will now set. Deal swinging his pop back foul. And the count will even up at 1-1. Excuse me. The count will even up 1-1 to Levesque. 2 outs here in the top of the ninth. Amsterdam is dancing here, and they know it. They know they're 2 strikes away from a game 1 win in a series lead. Fall looks in 1-1. Now he will set, deliver. That is upstairs and outside, ball 2. 2-1 the count to Levesque. 2 outs here in the top of the ninth. Even if Levesque homers, that would make it a 4-2 ball game, but the Pioneers would still need 2 runs from the bottom of their order. Fall looks in 2-1. Now he will set. Deal that is just outside, ball 3. So 3-1 the count to Levesque. A walk would not be bad. And the Pioneers, if they get a bunch of walks, that could keep them alive. 3-1 the count. Fall now will look in. There is still a pitcher warming in the Amsterdam bullpen. Fall 3-1 will now set. Deal that is upstairs and outside, ball 4. So that'll be a walk for Levesque. To put runners on first and second for the Pioneers with 2 outs in the top of the ninth. And so now that'll bring up number 22, Nick Bisaccia, the designated hitter. Bisaccia is 0 for 3 today. He's grounded out, struck out, and popped out. If he homers right now on this first pitch, it'd be a 4-3 ball game. And then any home run afterwards would tie it. Fall will set. Deal swung on a pop back foul by Bisaccia, and the count will go 0-1. The preferred thing, as Bisaccia is not necessarily known for home runs, if Bisaccia is walked, it would load the bases and give Eric Charnetsky, who does have a home run, an opportunity to grand slam and tie up the ball game. 0-1 the count. Fall now will set. Deal that is outside, ball 1. 1-1 the count to Bisaccia. 2 outs here in the top of the ninth. Pioneers are hanging on by the skin of their teeth in this game 1. Versace 1-1 the count. A walk is preferred to at least get all the bases loaded for Charnetsky. Now when a swing on a pop back foul by Versace, and the count will go 1-2. And now Amsterdam's getting wild as they know they are one strike away from a win. 1-2 the count to Versace. 2 outs here in the top of the ninth. Ball will look in 1-2. Ball looks in 1-2. Nods. Now he will set, deliver, swing and a miss by Versace. And that is a win for the Amsterdam Mohawks. They win it 4-0 in game 1 of this series. And they take a 1-0 series lead over the Pioneers. And if the Pioneers do not rally and get the bats going in game 2, this series will be over. It is now a do-or-die game 2 in Elmira tomorrow night. Looking at the schedule, that's exactly what's on it. Now, the Pioneers will have the home field advantage at Dunn. The crowd has to be there. It is a free admission to the ballgame. You have no reason not to go to the ballgame tomorrow. They are going to need their help. They're going to need your guys' help at home. You guys need to come to the stadium and cheer them on, as it is now do or die. The Pioneers are fighting for their season tomorrow. Until tomorrow, in game 2 of this series, I am Alex Chippert. Amsterdam takes the game 1. Pioneers need to rebound.